issue right now is the audio.
Yeah, which I think we're good with. Hey, Melissa, can you hear us through the Zoom okay?
Sure can.
Thank you. Good. We can hear you loud and clear too. All right. So,
Hey, Brian,
yes.
the initial Zoom, like to YouTube that we had set up though, is now not functioning properly. So anyone who's going to the old link isn't seeing anything.
The initial Zoom.
The initial YouTube link that we had. I mean, we're trying to get more people over to the new one anyway, but it looks like there's 20 people trying to watch the old link still that we weren't able to reach.
That's unusual because it says live on YouTube now. I'm looking at it, but so I really unfortunately can't really figure it out in my head right now. But
All right.
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should go because I think it's about as good as it's gonna get.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, that works.
You want to hear anything?
So for here, we'll load up your PowerPoint slides so that you can.
Will they see them or they won't see them?
They will see them. They'll see them on the YouTube.
Okay.
So the Zoom folks will not, unfortunately, but,
Okay.
Can you just share the screen?
That's not a big deal.
I mean, one could. And then I will
Should I
ask,
maximize it to, are they going to see it like this or they'll see it?
they will
I should
see,
maximize it probably.
actually don't worry about that at all because, oh, how am I going to see what slide he's on? Crap, so many things that you don't think about till you see him.
I can advance and it will be through Zoom normal way.
When you advance, yeah, I guess that's right. We probably should. But then if you screen share, you'll lose the camera. Damn. All right. I'm sorry. We
don't need to screen share. If they see our slides, we don't have to sign. What about the people that are presenting from outside?
The people that are presenting from outside will only see this perspective here of you.
I mean, will we hear them?
Yes. You'll hear them through.
We'll hear them. So that's all we need to do.
Yeah. And the YouTube live will see the slides because the slides are also up on my machine.
Okay.
And then, but
Do
I guess the problem is
what slide I'm on?
that you want to show the slides to the folks here. Vito?
Well, aren't they looking at it here? We're slave to this.
Unfortunately, we split it so that we could have two.
Oh, I see.
So maybe we should convert it back to the
I
mirror.
don't think they need
I kind of think they should see him.
to.
Dana spent a lot of time in
Yeah.
there for the graduates. Vito, can you switch this back over to mirror and then take the gallery view and drop it into the bottom quarter, shrink it from maximize and minimize the. Am I making sense?
Wait, so you want to just see this on here?
Yeah, I want to duplicate. All right. Okay, cool. We are just gonna move that here. All right. That was,
That's what you
is it on the
want.
other screen too?
Yeah. It's on here. It looks exactly like that. Like,
Good.
PowerPoint's not really a presentation.
Yeah. It won't do presentation mode and split the screen.
No.
All right. Thank you everyone at home for dealing with these technical problems. We are about ready to go. So, okay. So Zoom connected through. Audio should be feeding appropriately, but we might need to just troubleshoot if it, for whatever reason, gets off this setting. Video, so you'll have your slide deck here, and you can manually push the slides. I know we've got some stuff here. I can't fix it. It'll show up exactly like that.
Okay.
And then the YouTube stream will have this exterior camera perspective here, as well as Zoom focuses and slide deck focuses. And when you advance the slide, I'll advance the slide on mine, and we should be on the same page.
That sounds good.
Sorry for the.
No, not at all. It's great.
This is
We all heard everybody in.
an
And,
interesting challenge.
it's great. It is great. They're all having a good time.
Look at that. It's
This is
picturesque, George.
This is Isaac stuff. It's like a tech demo.
No, this is great. Okay.
Awesome.
And the mic is good. It's
So the way the microphones work is you're actually going to speak into this microphone, which is going to go to my soundboard and then out to the wide world. And the voice should also be picked up on your regular laptop too and talk to the Zoom folks. So a little bit of a parallel system. The YouTube will have a delay to it, but that tape delay will be kind of cooked into the whole show.
Okay.
So
gonna be good. I'll get
Yeah.
everybody back and we're ready to go.
yeah.
Gibbs. Can I help myself to another glass of wine?
You guys are gonna be on your own now, as far as drinks, you know where everything is.
Yes, sir.
And, so there you go. There's soda and water is in the fridge out here. Everything else is inside.
This is like this.
Help yourself.
Thank you so much.
So I just renewed mine.
Tracy's seat.
I'm Tatiana's right hand man, so I resident
You?
It's something you with like integration.
Whose R is that weekends?
I don't think it's name begins with an R, but
I don't.
That is
what do I? It's only been 5 years.
Brian, are we good?
Rebecca. That is my my wife's class.
There you go.
Oh, but lady table.
Oh, that's weird.
All right. Are we? Brian, are you hearing me?
Yeah,
we see you.
We see you up there.
And there.
Wait,
And
really?
there?
Who's?
We
Wait.
see his
Operating.
top middle.
Top middle.
Where's
Oh,
that
yeah, you
camera?
look
Um,
good.
But can anybody? Brian, do you hear me? You hear me now? All right.
Is that
I
Trisky?
first. That is Dr. Drisky. First, I apologize for the delay. I'll say that when Brian showed up, he said we start at 5:30, right? I said no, 5 o'clock. Turns out it is 5:30 on the nose. So I guess Brian is always right is the answer to that one. So I apologize to keep you guys waiting on the line. It's a beautiful day out here. I hear that it might be raining. It's at least pouring in Williamsville. So hopefully it's headed east and not coming this way, but we'll find out in about 20 minutes, I guess. So thanks for everybody's patience. Everybody's here. I don't know if you all can see. I know half of you are on Zoom, I guess, and half are on YouTube. Hopefully you can see all the chiefs here. We've got a good start on things already. So I'll move forward. I know it's going to be it's a little bit awkward doing it this way. I know everybody had reservations about it, but I think it's going to be great. I don't think we could do better. This is awesome to have everybody here in this setting, and it's a pleasure to have all the chiefs here at my house, and it's great. It's an honor for me. So as we start, you know, we all know what an eventful year it's been. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy 3 months with everything that's gone on with the pandemic and all of the protests, and here we are on Juneteenth, and that brings another significance to us. It's been some year that we will not forget, and I think it's fair to say that for all the chiefs that are here, it's not the same world that you came into residency in. It's a different world in every way. Robotics wasn't here. All of these world events were not here. The way we practice medicine is going to be completely different than it was before. And on that note, I think I should just commend all of the faculty, the staff, and the residents for how they performed during the pandemic. I think we didn't just get by, I think we excelled. I think everybody, I've mentioned it before, but I remember the town hall when you guys all said to me that we should be doing things differently, that we should step up and lead the hospital systems. And I think that's where you want to be at this point in your career. And that's where you were. And so I don't have the ability to go through everybody one by one that's done something great during this because the list is too long. But, you know, give yourself all a hand for that. You're all tremendous. Yeah, you know what? I didn't account for applause. I didn't think there would be any. So that's going to cost us some time. Try and move quick though. So in a minute, I'll turn things over to Dr. Schweitzberg for the toast. And but naturally, I have more to say. I'll try and be briefer than usual because of the format, but I've got to get some things out. First to acknowledge Sophia Drapanis, who we talked a lot about this morning. She likes to be here, and it's unfortunate that she can't be. Her thoughts are with us, and obviously that whole family, just a tremendous family, as we mentioned this morning. Dr. Drapanis should definitely be somebody whose life we aspire to be a tenth of what he accomplished. Next, I like to talk about the families. I think we often focus on all of the residents and the struggles you guys go through, but you all signed up for it. You knew what you were getting into. You did it because you love it, because you can't do anything else. But the families didn't necessarily sign up for it, right? And they've made a lot of sacrifices to get you guys here. And so I think we have to recognize all of the things that they did for all of you and for me in getting you guys here, and the sacrifices they make, and will continue to, which is the simple truth. It doesn't end here, obviously. There's so many people to talk about and honor, all the people that make the program run, like the support your families have for you. There's a ton of support for the program in general. All the staff, I mean, just look at the GME office staff. Just getting this done for tonight was a tremendous thing. Dana, Melissa, and Sue, Mike, Brian, even Brian, yes, even Brian, and Vito, to get this put together and make it happen. It's been tremendous, and they've been working hard for that. Not to mention all the other GME stuff that everybody has to do to keep the program running. Dr. Cooper and Brewer, obviously a huge part of the program. Dr. Cooper has excelled and just keeps layering on top all the things that she wants to do in the program, and it's awesome. It's incredible. And then there's Brewer. So, Mike Lamb, I should mention, it's not even been a year now. I remember he was here with us last graduation, and he hadn't started working yet, so it's not even a year. He is a fixture of this place, and I think he's done something for all of us. He's now my go-to to see what seems right and what seems wrong. Just a tremendous addition to us. George. And some things just don't change, George. It's comforting. It's comforting in these tumultuous times. It's a comfort. And Dr. Schweitzberg, obviously, Dr. Schweitzberg, who keeps the program together, who inspires, who pushes, who demands, encourages, all those things that he does to make all of you great and to do great things. And it's, as you heard this morning, our guest speaker say that we should appreciate what we have here. And I think that was a really, a very true statement. It's easy to take for granted what you have around you. And we shouldn't take Dr. Schweitzberg for granted because of all the things he does for us. I've missed a lot of people, but I do want to keep things moving. There are so many people who have done things. I didn't mention the faculty who have stepped up in a tremendous way. You know, you go back 15 years, being faculty just meant you did some cases and everybody followed along and hopefully learned something. It's a different world now. So I think they've really stepped up and I see them engaged in the way that I haven't seen in quite a long time. It's amazing and a great benefit to us. So I think that's all the thank yous. Usually this is the point where I shift to a Shaggy Dog story, and I went back and forth about whether I should do it because we're on a tight timeline and I know people are at home, and then I recognized how disappointed you all would be if I didn't tell a Shaggy Dog story. So what can I do? I have no choice. I'll try to make it a short one, but that doesn't make sense because the whole point of a Shaggy Dog story is that there's no point and that it's long. So a short one with a point, I don't know how it's going to go. I'll give it a try. So after I graduated, they're always loosely tied to graduation, right? More or less, although I'm running out of material. After I graduated, I wanted to learn how to fly. That was one of the things that when I was working hard in residency, I had never done, and I wanted to fly a plane. And I think this happens to a lot of surgeons. I'm not sure why. It happened to Blockley too. And so I think it's a common thing. So when I went out of residency to fellowship, things were relatively slow. So I had time. So I started taking lessons. I'd do a lesson a week or so. And then I got busy. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted me to take their call. And all the attendings said, just take my call. And I stopped flying. So another 6 months goes by. And I said, you know, I got to get back to this. I let it go. And I haven't been doing it. So I want to try it again. So I go back in, and our instructors were all people. Louisville was a hub for UPS, so they were just trying to get hours. They needed hours so that they get a job with UPS, which paid well. So they just wanted to be in a plane. They weren't really interested in teaching you. They just wanted to be in a plane and get the hours. I think Dr. Schweitzberg just looked up. He probably knows the game there. So they weren't too interested. I'm not sure my instructor could speak English. He was I think Czechoslovakian and didn't really talk to me much. But when I went back, he said, he looked at my logbook to see what we're going to do next. And he said, you've got 10.5 hours. I said, all right, great. So that means you solo. I said, no, I haven't been here in 8 months and I don't really remember how to get in the plane. He said, no, you're going to solo. And we went back and forth and back and forth. And this could be a much longer story. But anyway, eventually he got into the plane with me and we went to take off. And this is pre 9/11, right? So things weren't as strict then. And you do your roll up and you get ready and you do your run up, make sure everything works, and then you're ready to take off. And at that moment, he jumped out and he walked across the field back to the tower. He got in some trouble for that, but left me sitting there in the plane. And I had to make a decision at that point to either turn around. Now there's traffic behind you, right? There's other planes behind you. And I didn't really know how to get out of that because you're facing the runway. What do you do? Circle back? What do you do? So I took off. And the bad part there is taking off is much easier than landing. Dr. Schweitzberg, is that fair to say? At least it was for me. I always had trouble with that. So taking off's easy. So I took off and I knew how to do touch and goes where you almost land and then take off again. And I did that for a very long time. And I just circled and I circled and I circled. And sooner or later, you're running out of gas. And so I landed and I didn't crash and I went back and what's the point? The point is somehow this guy who didn't seem interested in me knew that I was ready to go. I hope he didn't just get out of the plane. I hope that he had some thoughts that I wouldn't die. But he got out of that plane. And I think tonight, that's what we celebrate. This is all of us getting out of the plane. You guys are all ready to go. We have confidence in you. You all know it. You'll doubt yourself probably, but you are all ready. And we're proud of that. So that's what we celebrate tonight. So I will turn over to Dr. Schweitzberg for the toast. Give me a minute. I'm going to run and get the champagne, which I didn't prepare for.
All right, it's kind of weird because there's no speakers here. It gave me 10 minutes. So I have a number of prepared comments. I think this is a season where you shouldn't really be talking off the cuff. But before we do, we always talk about the people coming and going and the transitions that have been in the department. And there's a number of people to mention this evening. First of all, Evan Evans is retiring, and he's been a fixture in Buffalo for many years. He's going to do his last couple cases, coming up soon, and we will have a send-off for him. But, Evan has committed his surgical life to the city of Buffalo and the people of Western New York, and we should remember that. It's also of note that Dr. Karakouzis, who was a legendary oncology surgeon, died on March 31st of COVID disease in the Buffalo General Hospital. And so he really was an extraordinary cancer surgeon, literally wrote the book, and has been an incredible member of the department. On the happier side, there's a number of new hires. We are thrilled to announce that Ben Ham has offered our verbal offer to come to the Department of Surgery, Division of Pediatric Surgery. And that's bittersweet in some ways because David Rothstein will be departing at the end of the summer while he and Sarah go to the state of Washington and work there. But also there will be some familiar faces. Ashley Chopko will be staying with us as critical care and general surgery. Brittany Montrose will be staying with us in vascular surgery as an attending. We all know that Yaron Perry came this year, and thoracic surgery at BGH will never be the same in a good way. And he's gotten busy really quickly, and the cases get bigger and bigger. We want to welcome new fellows, Tracy, whatever name you take as that you've decided to take as a fellow next year. The whole audience is going, what is that all about? You'll have to explain later. Matthew Bernstein will be joining us from the Cleveland Clinic as the MIS Fellow. Leonid Churasky, and a number of people that are coming to the department. Sophia Smith, Albert Luong, Janet Mansour, Iman Simmons, Shrita Chamala, Justin Gray, Katie Deneen in the lab, Charlene Price, Roxanne Carter, Taylor Bettinger, Chloe Woodward, Jordan Kennedy, Chelsea Majewski, Kate Honan, Ryan Duggan, who's the thoracic PA, Kimberly Carling, and Chelsea Campbell. Other really important events that have happened in our life this year. Natasha got married. So congratulations to Natasha, and Brandon Cooley got married as well. So round of applause for the new people and the marriages. Thank you. We are prolific department in other ways because we've had the opportunity to welcome Therese to Rainier's family, Emery to Andrew's family, Giovanni to Caitlin's family, and Cameron to Beth's family. So we're really thrilled that all these future surgeons are coming along. We have a number of incoming residents, so we welcome the PG1s, Brianna, Holly, William, Joseph, Maria will be staying with us as a categorical, Rebecca, Garrett, Kevin, Frankie. That's awesome. And prelims that are staying with us are Caitlin, Kristen, Jay, Isadora, and Jessica Nguyen. We have OMFS residents, Ali and Jeremy, urology residents, Eric, Matthew, Patrick, and vascular integration resident, Ariel. So that's all the new people that are coming. And so look for those faces and try to be as welcoming as possible. So on a more serious note, first of all, this is a great day. And I want to thank everybody that's on the Zoom and the YouTube for joining us, since we're doing this virtual graduation, not because we want to, but because we want to be as safe as possible during this worldwide pandemic, which has certainly changed everything we do at the moment. Despite the fact that we're virtual, there's a pandemic, Tracy. Yes, there's a pandemic going on. Crazy. Despite that, it does not lessen the magnitude and the importance of the events tonight. We're here to celebrate the graduation of our 10 chief residents, in surgery, have taken a variety of long and winding roads. And I've had long conversations with many of you and understand how you have worked to persevere and overcome and really succeed in this world to get to this waypoint that marks not the end of your journey, but a new beginning. It isn't a small thing that you accept this immense responsibility that you're about to be given. It's an extraordinary privilege. And in point of fact, you have been given great power, whether you realize it or not. And yet it remains one of the great truths, despite its origins with Spider-Man's uncle, it is true that with great power comes great responsibility. After graduating from college and med school, you earn the right to be named doctor. This comes from the Latin word docere, which means to teach. And now as you become surgeons, this will be the ecosystem in which you will do your teaching. The origin of the word surgeon comes from the Greek that means handwork. And Tatiana goes, hey, I'm surgeon because I'm gonna do handwork for sure. But you will not just work with your hands, but you will work with your heart and your minds in order to prepare your patients and provide the best of care for them. Your teaching will take many forms. You might choose to teach in the operating room or the classroom or the community, your house of worship, or even in your home. But that's not what I want to draw your attention to right now. I'm asking you to honor this great power and responsibility that you've been given by being committed to teach your patients. They are counting on you, whether you realize it or not just to do the handwork of surgery, but to guide them, to teach them so that they might choose the proper paths through their illness, whether it be with the knife or not. Your great responsibility is to never lead them to a choice based on money or because you have a hole in the operating schedule, thus denying them the opportunity to prepare, do a more refined workup, have adjuvant interventions that might lead to a better outcome. This will be hard. This will be hard on many days. They are counting on you to do more than just hand them a consent form with a list of complications on it, thus checking a box and fulfilling your legal duty. They are counting on you to respect their autonomy as human beings and for you to teach them what to do. This will be very hard. They are counting on you to make the right recommendations that make sense in the totality of their life, even if it means sending them to somebody else or not doing surgery at all. This too will be hard. But all of you are up to the task, and I have no doubt of that. Dr. Asbun took us on a journey of change this morning, and you will have incredible opportunities to witness innovations in your professional lifetime. During this time, you will make choices to accept or reject the status quo. Try hard to avoid rigid thinking. Try very hard. There really should be no sacred cows in surgery, and really there should be no sacred cowboys either. This will be so hard.
You will have incredible opportunities to witness innovations in your professional lifetime.
Thank you. There really should be no sacred cows in surgery and no sacred cowboys. This is tempting, and it is going to be so hard you have no idea to maintain the status quo. After all, it is what it is, isn't it? But again, I know all of you are up to the challenge to avoid this trap. We have all heard the term, it is what it is. And I'm as guilty as anybody.
There really should be no sacred cows in surgery and no...
I'm as guilty as anybody, and I nod my head.
You have no idea to maintain the status quo. After all, it is what it is, isn't it? But again, I know all of you are the challenge to avoid this trap.
Okay.
Okay. I'm as guilty as anybody, and I nod my head when people say it is what it is. We rarely ask, what is it? Maybe we should be saying, when they say it is what it is, no, it ain't. It isn't what it is. And what are we going to do about it? David Ratner, who came and gave grand rounds earlier this year, yet another former SAGES president, inspired me many years ago with 5 words. You are what you do. These are very powerful words. And as a surgeon, you are all going to be very much what you do. Your heart, your minds, your hands all come together, not only when you do surgery, but how you do surgery. How have you treated your patients? How have you treated their families? How have you treated the team that helped you get it all done? And don't forget this last point. No matter how good you are, or how good you think you are, you actually can't do any of this by yourself. If you never forget that, this will be one of the easiest ways to leave your ego at the door of the operating room before you walk in. Paternalistic medicine is hopefully being replaced by a more enlightened, a more thoughtful, and certainly a more just way to practice the art of what we do. So as such, it's fitting that we consider this day of graduation, June 19th, 2020, otherwise known as Juneteenth, as an opportunity to recognize the importance of change and the rejection of the status quo. If we've learned nothing in the last few months from the death of George Floyd and so many others, maybe we should realize it is not enough to speak for change or even fight a war to end the abomination of slavery. As an American, former Army officer, I was sworn to defend this country. A surgeon, a member of this community, I believe in the words of the Declaration of Independence. And so I want to remind you what they actually say. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, men and women, of course, and that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and among them are the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. As a nation, we have failed to live up to this. Truly. We fail to live up to this when any segment of our society is crying out over and over again that their lives matter. We all have to do something. As doctors, maybe we should teach something. Maybe we should help someone, or perhaps more importantly, help someone help themselves. By listening, reading, and talking with people who can educate me, I'm working to change my own understanding, my own reference points as a guide for what I will do. And don't get me wrong, this department of surgery is what it does. And we have done some very good work to teach the community, to inspire youth in the realm of STEM education through our drone STEM and other programs, galas to raise money for battered women and children, and yes, occasionally men. Donations through the holiday season, Dr. Lucan's program to deliver lunches with the medical students, and our own UBMD scholarship to support education and help people improve, and a few other things. I think it's a good start. I think we can probably do more so that this moment in time is not just a soundbite before the next big thing dominates our conversation. If you read the curriculum from the RRC and the ACGME, we are obligated to teach not only the hard skills of cut, sew, and tie, which we now do with our hands, it's not just handwork, our laparoscopic tools and our robots, but also the soft skills of consent, respect, the social determinants of care, and social justice. This is our collective responsibility as physicians and surgeons in the 21st century. So Jean and Rafa and Alex and Tatiana and Pang and Tracy and Rich and George and Andrew and Tom, we got to take fewer residents in the future. That's exhausting. I am amazingly proud of all of you. I know all of you will be able to fly and land the plane for sure. I have no fear that you're not up to the task ahead of you. I know you are up to it, but it's also important for you to know that you are up to it as well. And yes, it's true. The end of the beginning is not quite tonight. There are some fellowships to do, some boards to take, but this accomplishment of completing your general surgery residency is awesome. And you should savor this day, because there will never be another one exactly like it. Because you're not only smart, but you have mastered the skill of handwork as your tool for healing the sick. Be what you do. Congratulations. It is time for toasting.
As he was speaking, a female eagle flew basically right over your head as you were doing the first part of that. Really tremendous. You guys all missed it, but it was
All right.
Eagle?
for me, just me,
Oh, it's female.
take your word for it, because it's looks different. It's brown.
I didn't know.
Seems like a funny question. I'm
So since it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and hopefully 5 o'clock everywhere for your watching, a toast to the graduates of the class of 2020 UB Surgery, their families, their parents who have put so much into your lives, and to your patients for the future. Thank you so much for taking care of our patients. This is to you. Here, here.
That's good. Dana, Dana's choice. All right. I don't know if we have-
It's true, yeah, no contact, no contact.
All right. I don't know if we have, probably I should be wearing my glasses. I don't know if we have Dr. Osmond on the line.
Yes, I'm here.
If this is your opportunity, if you like to say a few words, we'd be happy to hear from you if you'd like.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, excellent. First of all, what a great toast. No question about it that it's one of the best ones I have heard in a graduation. Then Steve, congratulations. But congratulations go to all the residents. You are surgeons now. Yes, you now have to do it yourself and you will enjoy it. We are extremely fortunate. We are fortunate because we are able to do something and get instant gratification. We do the procedure, we see the result right there, and we are going to assume the majority of the times will go well. Therefore, you're going to have the gratification. You have a patient, a family, and you're working with your hands. Not only that, but when you're doing it, the world stops outside the operating room doors, and you are able to do what you have been trained and acquire skills every day to be able to get better. But not everything it's going to be perfect. There are going to be weeks like the ones we had this week. Myself, Niha, my whole team, we've been extremely busy. We operated Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I had left Friday not to operate, but I ended having to add patients to my clinic, and I was called right now, around 2 hours ago, to an emergency that a colleague had. I had promised Steve, I actually volunteered that I was going to wear my tuxedo. My tuxedo is going to be waiting at home when I go back because I barely finished, and I was very happy to learn that you guys were late to be able to join this. My point is not to talk about me, but about to tell you that life is a series of adaptations, and you will have to adapt in regular basis on your career. And don't forget that, because that is going to make you less anxious to understand that. Yes, I had a very nice speech. I written, it's still waiting at home by my tuxedo. I don't have it. But the moment that I saw that I was not going to make it, I thought, well, let's take the good part of it. I'm in the operating room. This is the operating room. This is where we live. Those are the doors where the world stops. And it's funny because not too long ago, I had to mention to some medical students that were graduating and going to surgery the same things. We are very blessed with what we do. The problem is if you forget what you are a surgeon for. If all of a sudden you look for money or you look for fame, and those are your goals, as long as you keep in touch with what has motivated you to become a surgeon and what is the beauty of what we're doing, you will be able to continue being happy within reason. Because happiness, of course, we all know is a journey, not a destination. Then make sure that you don't lose your ways, because it's not difficult to do when you go through a lot of hardships. We have talked with this morning about all the great things we have lived. But at the same time, there has been a parallel change in medicine in the United States. And the medicine that we came to when we graduated is completely different now. It has a lot of hurdles, paperwork, a lot of liability, people imposing on us what to do. I don't think I need to tell you. And for the last decades, I have heard surgeons in the lounge complaining about how bad things have turned. Don't lose sight of what you do every day. Always remember, yes, it's difficult, but we're still making a decent or good living. We're still being able to do what we like. And as I said, on the way, you're helping patients, making a difference. And if you don't lose sight, then you won't forget of the joy that's to practice surgery. And at the same time, I would recommend that you do not just stay idle. Dr. Schweitzer was talking about the status quo. The status quo should be not only about medicine, but about how you practice. I would tend to say, and I would propose to you, that we surgeons have forgotten that we have much more control than what we think we have. And it is time that we retake that control in a collegial and in a good way. Don't forget about the fact that a lot of other people do things that can be done by other people, but surgery cannot be done by anybody else but surgeons, because it takes a dedication, a commitment, and it takes the 5 or 6 years that you guys just went through. Then it's not that easy. If you want to do another specialty that's not surgical or interventional, you can just study for it, get experience, and start doing it. That's not the case on surgery. Then go back to understanding that you have more power and try to change the system in a positive way, not ever forgetting about the joy that it is to be a surgeon. Dr. Schreiber's talk about responsibility to be a surgeon, and I told you this morning, it's a huge responsibility. You always have to think about, would I do this on a member of my family? And again, I repeat it because it should not be just a cliche, it should be real, it should guide you every day. And don't forget, life is a series of adaptations, as I said. I wish you the best. You have gone through years that you will never forget. All of those attendings that have spoken today and that have influenced you through your career, you're gonna carry them with you. And the last thing I want to say and emphasize, don't forget your family. At the end of the day, many patients are going to forget the name of their surgeon. Your children will never forget who you are and what were you. Be there for them. And there are many ways of being there for them. Just make sure you're in their lives. Don't forget them. Make them part of what you do and be part of what they do at the same time. Have fun. Have fun in the rest of your career. I wish you the best. And again, thank you very much for all of you to invite me. I'm sorry I'm on this and not on my tuxedo, but my heart, it was to be able to show you my respect, my admiration, because everybody that finishes 5 or 6 years of the training of surgery should be respected and admired. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was extremely eloquent, and the points you made, you couldn't have said them better. All the balance that we need to get. And these tuxedos are incredibly hot, so you're lucky to be where you are. It's probably not cooler than it are, isn't it? I bet it is. So, but thank you so much. Thanks for being here with us tonight. I know all the chiefs and certainly myself, we appreciate it. So thank you.
Good. Thank you.
I think we'll move right on to the awards. We've sort of grouped everything together. I guess that kind of gives the answers. Are you all looking at that? So much for the surprise.
Yeah, well.
Wow. All right. Well, I hadn't seen that coming. There was another. Well, I guess you know who everybody is. So these are the ABSITE's highest scoring resident in each PGY level. It also comes with a gift card for something in some amount. I'm not sure what, but that is forthcoming, I think, in the mail. So the gift card is in the mail for whoever's on this list. So PGY 1, Dr. Jasmine Binder. PGY 2, Dr. Dylan Tanzer. PGY 3, Dr. Michael Walk. PGY 4, Dr. Mandy Floor. PGY 5, Tracy Turner. Well done.
And their gift cards are all delivered to them electronically in their email.
Check it right now, Dana.
You notice how she's just always there? She just sort of pops up.
Right.
This dress somehow.
All right, and the administrative chief residents, come on up. You can come up as a group. You know who you are. You don't need the slide, I don't think. All right, and I think the, you know, it's a difficult time to be an administrative chief. I think it always is, but with all the changes, it was particularly difficult. George? I think these guys, and I'm going to do them all together because I think they all did a tremendous job. I think they all worked. You must be the last one. I don't know. I could have somebody else's name on it. I'm not sure. I didn't
We'll
check.
see, I guess.
Who knows? Maybe it was all a big mistake.
No, you even got my middle name.
What is that? I didn't look
Oh,
at it.
Marie, it starts with an M.
Marie. There you go.
Most common middle name literally ever, so I guess you could have bet on it. No offense,
all the
Mom.
learning we're doing tonight. All the things you see.
Love you, Mom. Great name.
So, these guys did a tremendous job. I mean, with all the changes, there's always schedule changes and schedule problems. This year, I think, was probably more than ever. There were all the last minute schedule changes that occurred because of COVID. And these guys all stepped in and they worked with the rising administrative chiefs. They worked incredibly together as a team, and we thank them for everything that they've done. And so thank you all. Great job.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
I can't remember when I last saw antibacterial.
Oh, there's some up on the bar right over there. There's bug spray and hand sanitizer. Try to think of everything. Wow, that's just so cold. Isn't that cold? I mean, I get it, but
I'm gonna sanitize my organs.
My family's here, so I just don't want
absolutely. No offense, I didn't take any
to work too hard. It's not you, it's me.
So other awards to recognize. Everyone's done a tremendous amount of things this year. Dr. Schweitzberg went through a lot of the list of all the things you guys did, the events that you had, the initiatives that you undertook, and then there's all of these other awards that we should mention. The Gold Foundation, George Ventro, Excellence in Teaching Award. Goda was inducted to the Gold Humanism Honor Society Resident Chapter. Brandon, AOA Honor Society, certainly he deserves. Joe Pellicemi was a recipient of the Kaleida MBA program, and he's going to do a great job there, I know. Nick is a recipient of the Masters of Public Health Scholarship, and is also, I think, going to excel in that. So more additions to the PLUS programs. The Kenny O got the Evan Calkins Award. All of you. So the program in general, I think this should go to everybody, but Arvind and Norden went to the college for the Jeopardy competition and third place out of 32 teams, which is extraordinary. I mean, absolutely incredible. Well done. Well done.
We were robbed.
How I not bet better?
Me if I knew how to bet better.
And then Dr. Chopko won the second place presentation at the ACS Committee on Trauma, Residents and Fellows Trauma Paper Awards. Went to New York City for that on alcohol screening work. Nargis got a service award, the American Association of Surgical Administrators, obviously a great honor there. And she's part of the support and helps with all the initiatives that the program undertakes. So some great work there. One of our medical students, Carol Collier, was a recipient of the travel grant for the Society of Black Academic Surgeons Conference. Best pitch at Uval College went to Brian and Ashley Levine. Brian, well done. Brian's obviously he's been into pretty much everything. He's, I said earlier, we about once a year, there's a film crew that comes here to do a Lifetime movie. And Brian brought more stuff than they do. But he's been into absolutely everything and has been recognized in a number of events for his work, which is great. Research awards from the New York State Department of Health, obviously the Empire Clinical Research Investigator Program, a great honor there for Dr. Kaler and Dr. Noyes. Honorable mention at the Siegel Teaching Award for Arvind and Michael Walk. Again, no surprise. All these things are no surprise. You guys do great work, and it's great to see you being recognized for it. Aaron Epstein was a nominee to the ACS Humanitarian Award for his work, and he's going to get it this year. He's got to get it this year, but we'll have that to announce next year, I think. Norden, there's a lot of Norden here. A little too much Norden. There's too much Norden. Was a nominee for the Jameson Chasen Award for Professionalism in General Surgery, College of Surgeons. Michael Walk, a nominee for the SCORE Resident Advisory Group. And again, Brian and Jinwei, Ashley Levine, Vito, and medical students Brielle Anderson and Aiden Z were finalists at the Panache competition. Obviously a very competitive business competition, and an honor to just, I think, be there, let alone be a finalist in that. So great work. Our Research Day, Surgery Research Day Awards, first place presenter, Dr. Karim, second place presenter, Randall Smith, third place presenter, once again, Brian Caranto. It's the Caranto and Norden program, which is all right. That's a little scary when you say it out loud. The quick shot presentations from Research Day, Dr. Falkery from Vascular Surgery was first place presenter. Second place, Maria Colucci, Chio. Third place was to Dr. Katsuda. And those were for all the short quick shots. Poster presentations went to Dr. Phil Pescu, and second place to Dr. Oshie, third place to Dr. Simmons. All right, and I apologize for going through all those too fast. They all deserve a lot more time, and I'm just trying to be aware of everybody that's on this call. And it's a disservice to all the guys that put so much effort to get there. But uh-oh, there's a note coming. Oh, I didn't even notice. So Dr. Fung, Sage's Career Development Award. That's a big deal. $60,000. Well done. That was great. Well done. That is amazing. Great, and other faculty things. I mean, I didn't talk about Dr. Cooper, who's studying in addition to everything else that she's doing for the program to get her Master's of Education, and that's a tremendous thing that she's doing as well. So. Now on to the Roger Seibel Award. Dr. Flynn, usually would do this, and unfortunately he can't be here. And Kathleen Seibel, Roger's wife, would also. I know she would love to be here. I don't know if she's on the call or not, because I know she certainly this is a big moment for her as well. I don't think most of you guys knew Dr. Seibel. I lose track of time, unfortunately, but Dr. Seibel was a really great man. I mean, I think he's somebody that, so he was one of the founders of the trauma unit. He trained at the E.J. Meyer, and then came over. He went to Vietnam, came back, and along with John LaDuca and Dr. Border, they sort of started the modern trauma program. And he was a founder of that. He did everything. He was one of the trauma surgeons that he trained in orthopedic surgery as well. So he did orthopedic trauma, general trauma, vascular, thoracic. He could do it all. He was a great man, gruff. He said what was on his mind. He was not tactful. He didn't have a problem telling you what he was thinking. And it was refreshing. I mean, it was awesome to talk to him. I know one of the first times I met him was at Burn Rounds, and I'm not sure even why I spoke up, but I started to talk about vitamin C, which has come back for COVID. In my defense, it's come back. But at that time, people were trying to use big doses of in Japan, big doses of vitamin C to try and reduce burn conversion. And I mentioned that on Burn Rounds that I was interested in looking at vitamin C for treatment of his burns. And that was a long recovery. That was like weeks of recovery from that one. But I consider him, I think he was a great friend, and he really built a great unit. And so this award is in honor of him, of the resident that most carries out his ideals and who he is. And so let's see. This year, Dr. Dylan Townsend is the recipient of the award. I don't know if this is the, we will get that. And certainly he is somebody that I think Dr. Seibel would be proud to have getting this award. I think he's got a similar approach to things, and I think it was a great choice. So congratulations. All right, best overall resident. This is a tough one. This is the award that the faculty all votes on to determine who's the best, and every year it's hard. This year I think it was particularly hard. I think you all deserve the award. That's the truth. That's not hyperbole. I think you all have done great things, and you all deserve it. This year it goes to somebody who's one of the administrative chiefs, who's been very established, is persistent, task-oriented, a tremendous teacher, really worked on her training program, and really moved us along with Mike Lamb into a new era. Don't look at me like that. Dr. Andrew Norton. He knew. I'm gonna bring it to you. I'll bring it to you. It's all right. No. You don't have to. Here, let me do this. All right. Then you don't have to use any hand sanitizer. Perfect. All right. Dr. Harmon, are you still with us?
Hey, it's David Rothstein. I'm going to be pitching you.
David, I'm back. David, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Great. Then I'll scrap my comments.
Well, I have to say the Gold Star Award in pediatric surgery was a tough decision this year. The faculty struggled and argued and debated. We've got a really great group of third-year residents, and we really struggled to come up with one. And I'll say in part, we were influenced by this one resident's devotion to teaching in a way that I'm not sure I've seen residents have. And the day that he was trying to talk to a med student about how to put an NG tube down, and he volunteered to have the med student put it down him, is what I think led us forward to pick Dr. Michael Walk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Harmon. We also, since we didn't do this last year, we're just to.
I don't know.
I think so. Last year we didn't get to do the award, and so we wanted to recognize Dr. Martinez for having received it last year as well, and obviously Michael Walk. Next, Molly, are you on the line?
Yep, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, okay. So just going to make a few comments about each of these winners. So the Worthington Shank Teaching Award really recognizes excellence in teaching to the medical students. So these awards are based on evaluations and feedback that I've gotten over the past year from the students. I'll start with PGY 5 class. Dr. Andrew Norden is the recipient. Just going to read a few comments from his evaluations. Dr. Norden is one of the best residents in this program. He's absolutely fantastic. He's the perfect teacher for me. He leads by example, and that's the kind of chief resident that I hope to become one day. He's exceptional. He's a model of how every doctor should be. He's able to navigate difficult encounters with patients, and he makes every patient and everyone on his team feel comfortable and calm. He's engaging, and I was honored to be on his team. Congratulations, Dr. Norden, once again.
There's a table over there for all your awards.
Yeah, you've won enough at this point. PGY 4 award goes to Dr. Brandon Coolwind. Some comments about Brandon. He's one of the best seniors that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. He's knowledgeable, confident, and efficient. He's a great person, super smart and caring. He always makes sure the students are involved. He has a very good sense of humor and a relaxed demeanor. Congratulations, Dr. Coolwind. I don't think you're that funny, but the students do. PGY 3, congratulations to Dr. Schultze. Some comments about Amy. Amy truly cares about her patients. She's a good communicator with the team, and she helps to make sure that everyone is involved and has an active role in the patient's care. She's an awesome resident to work with, a great team leader, a doctor, teacher. She's kind to everyone that she meets. She's a great role model, can handle a large patient caseload as well as stressful patients, and she has an excellent bedside manner. Congratulations. PGY 2 goes to Carrie Ryan. Some comments about Carrie. Dr. Ryan was clearly very interested in training her students. She repeatedly went out of her way to provide in-depth educational experiences without needing any prompting. Her enthusiasm for mentoring made working with her the most positive experience I had during my third year. She's very approachable and always looks for opportunities to teach. Congratulations, Carrie. And then PGY 1, the recipient is Dr. Polachemi. Some comments about him. Dr. Polachemi is a pleasure to work with. He's an excellent role model. He consistently looks for ways to get students involved in the OR. He really takes the time to get to know us as students, and he provides valuable feedback, and he displayed kindness to his patients and a determination to provide them with the best possible care. Congratulations, Dr. Polachemi.
Thank you, Molly. That's great.
Yep.
All right. You guys want to, Administrative Chiefs, you want to do the, usually we do this at the end, but somehow it's come up now. So you want to do the, yeah. All right.
So the CP Chandra Award is intended to recognize the attending who has contributed the most to the training of the surgeon throughout this 5-year residency program. It's named, spoiler alert for everyone, after CP Chandra, who was known as a scholar, an educator, an excellent anatomist, a teacher, and a gentleman. So it should come as no surprise to those of us here in the residence in the audience that the winner of the 2020 CP Chandra Award, who meets all of these qualifications and then some, is Dr. Stephen Barone. His knowledge and skill in the operating room translate into fantastic surgical teaching for residents of all PGY levels. And in aspects of patient care, he involves the resident in an instructive but collaborative role, fostering our independence as surgeons in training. And having called him more than once in the middle of the night, I can testify that this is true anytime, day or night. So Dr. Barone, from all of us, thank you for all that you do. And we're so grateful for all your experience in teaching.
These pictures there, everyone, get a good look. All right, the next is the Chief Residence Teaching Award. This is the award that's annually. It was established in honor the attending surgeon who has had the greatest support on education, both inside and outside in the operating room. And it speaks quality of the faculty at UB, and is typically given to a different attending each year. So this year, the award goes to an attending who pushes us beyond our comfort levels, a teacher who has us look at the entire patient, not just what we're called for, a surgeon who has us hurry the F up and slow the F down at the same time, and a man who arguably has the biggest heart in Buffalo. He teaches us independence and confidence. This year's teaching award for the Chief Residence goes to none other than Dr. John Butch.
Wow.
Anyway, either way, hello, thank you. So this is the Advanced Practitioner Appreciation Award. This award was created to represent our appreciation for the work done by the Advanced Practitioner Support staff, which obviously is very, very extensive because we're always whining about having to go to the OR. Each year, the residents vote and select the practitioner that we believe has done the best job in aiding the resident staff to together provide excellent patient care. The winner exemplifies hard work, teamwork, compassionate patient care, and acts as an educator to new residents on the service, which I think as time goes on becomes more and more evident and more appreciated every year. So this award goes to someone who I care very deeply about and who has honestly been so supportive for me and has provided such a respite in the 15 North room, which is now changed from what I've heard. I haven't been a BGH in a hot second, but always somewhere I would go to receive praise and honor and things that I needed at the time. Also, this person was able to grow an entire human for the duration of time working with us until she went out and inspired an exceedingly amazing cake from John Butch. But so all of that aside, this year's award goes to Dr. Brittany, or I'm sorry, not Dr. Nurse Practitioner Brittany Cudahy, who is absolutely amazing and does so much for us all the time, and all of Dr. Butch's patients and all the Blue patients in general. And we could never survive without her. Thank you so much.
Get rid of that.
You're cut off.
What everybody missed though was, oh, and he's coming back again. So was George coming out the back and trying to duck under the camera so that nobody saw him going out the other side when he dropped his glasses and tripped. Smooth. It's all right. These are all the answers. Yeah, if she had only had this slide in front of her, right? That would have helped.
No, I get so nervous. I'm sorry. I'm gonna text Brittany.
All right, so, and we already kind of went through this a little bit earlier. I think Dr. Schweitzberg went through some of the fellowships, and again, difficult just because of time. All these people deserve a lot of time, and I think we'll have smaller graduation ceremonies, I think, for each of them in smaller scale, just because of our limitations with COVID. But Colorectal surgery, Dr. Lin. Surgical critical care, Dr. Chopko, who's going to be joining us in the practice. Dr. Ben Hom, who's going to be joining us in the practice. And minimally invasive surgery, Dr. Karim. All who did a great job. Vascular Surgery Fellowship, Dr. Falkery. Vascular Integrated, Dr. Montrose, who will be joining us. Notice a pattern? There's a pattern here. It just means we attract some really good people that we want to keep. And that's a great thing. OMFS, Dr. Cronenwetter, Dr. Merkel, both outstanding jobs as interns. Those guys performed really well. You know, usually I cringe when I get the calls, but about those two, it was usually something good, which was nice. Surprising, I didn't know what to do. The other preliminary residents, general surgery preliminary residents, Dr. Galbo, Maria Nunez, and Frankie, all of whom will be staying with us. And so that's just a great pleasure. They'll be back with us, and we'll finish up through the program. All right, categorical surgery residents. So as I go through, hopefully the links will work and everybody will be ready. We're a little bit off schedule, so hopefully those presenting will be in the wings waiting to jump in. And so we'll start with Dr. Blanche. Dr. Guo is going to introduce, and while he gets teed up, I'm going to just, and I should mention that partially before we go forward. Dana was very proactive at trying to reach out to families and get pictures, information, and I think this collection of slides is really tremendous. I think you're going to love it. So Dr. Guo is going to introduce, and as he gets teed up, I just want to again recognize your family. Is there any, maybe you could do that for me? Who's out in the audience that that's helped you through?
My parents.
Her parents and her husband. Good choices. Excellent, good choices. And she has a lot to say about them.
I do.
But there's just no time. There's just no time.
I'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So I just, like I say, as he's getting teed up, I think we just have to recognize all the sacrifices that they made to get all of you here. And so a round of applause for parents and their husband. Go, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's my honor to introduce Alexandra Blanche in this special event. Alex was born and grew up in South Louisiana. When she was a toddler, she made at least 100 bird dog training trips with her dad and the dog Tammy. And there's a beautiful story about the toddler Alex from the trip. She went to Boston for undergraduate and did research at Harvard. She then moved back to New Orleans for medical school. In there, she met her husband, Chris. And it was interesting that they found out that they both were born not only in the same city, but in the same hospital, and were only 1 month apart. So they met here as a couple match to the residency program here in Buffalo. Alex has come a long way. She has a sharp and sound clinical judgment. She has superb communication skills and a good pair of hands. I remember operating with her for so many challenging cases, including the one, Alex, including the one with the massive hemothorax due to the subclavian artery injury. But she operated with confidence. Above all, she has a tender heart for patients. So I trust her to take care of my patient. Alex has been working so hard for the last 5 years with so many sleepless nights on call, accompanied with her favorite seltzer, sparkling water, and lollipops. With so many hours of operation, long hours of operation, so that her dog, Mira, had to wait for her, not at the front door, but at the rooftop in the snowy winter nights. So we are here tonight to share in the excitement of her joyful and proud moment because of her achievement. I want to close my introduction with lyrics from a song by Leslie Gore. It says, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything was wonderful. It's sure to come your way. Congratulations, Alex, and good luck with your fellowship in Rochester.
Congratulations. There's a big hole there. I probably should have
Yeah,
told you
there's a
about
big
that. Surprise.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Guo.
You'll need that.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Dr. Guo. I'm overwhelmed. We all have so much to thank you for. All right. So here we go. You know, I thought the one upside of COVID would be that I didn't have to give this speech. For someone, one of us who spends their days being judged in an OR for their every move and every thought, this scares the absolute poop out of me. But here we are. Conveniently for me though, my dad is a tremendous speaker. Having barely any clue what to say, I asked him for advice, and he told me to, interestingly, his first thought was on a similar line as mine, which was fear, which is kind of a theme for residency. He said to talk about 3 fears I had before starting, 3 things I admired, and 3 things that I learned. As far as fear goes, I think mine haven't really changed too much. But what I've learned is that fear for your patients keeps you safe. And I'll caution the younger residents to remember that. As time goes on, that fear transforms at its best into a careful, sometimes confident logic that fuels you going the extra mile for your patients. And it underlies a sense of ownership for the people we care for. I say people, not patients, for a reason. And this leads to my father's next point, things that I've admired. A good resident takes ownership of their actions and how they affect their patients. As we progress, the impact of these actions really grows. And as seniors, our patients' outcomes can weigh heavily. With this weight, I've gained an even greater respect for our attendings and what they've endured. It's a difficult road to be a surgeon and a much more arduous one to be both a surgeon and an educator. I know I speak for all of us when I thank you all for allowing us help in the care of the people that we have called our patients for these past 5 years. Now I'd like to offer a few notes of further thanks to Dr. Brewer for enlightening me about my non-existent poker face. This may sound silly, but it was a very, very important lesson and one I really appreciate. To Dr. Guo for challenging me at every clinical juncture and for enthusiastically supporting my future. You always demand the very best, and we are all eternally grateful to you for that. And for those lyrics that I will never, ever forget. To Dr. Butch for bringing us the craziest cases and for showing us what it is to dedicate literally every second of your life to the well-being of your patients. And finally, thank you most to my husband, Chris, for snow blowing at 4 a.m. so I could get out of the driveway. We're from the South. This is a really, really big deal. For listening to my nonsensical work stories every night. And to Chris and my family for putting up with my absence and at times my presence. I love you all so much and appreciate your support more than you could ever know. It's cliche to say, but I really wouldn't be here without you. And again, to Chris, if you're still listening, thank you for your patience and your unending thoughtfulness. I love you to the ends of the earth, and I'm so excited to embark upon the next steps of our life together. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Got it.
We'll box that later. Not to worry. Watch out for the holes. Oh, and so I'll take a minute and advance the slides. I'm sorry about that. There are more pictures.
Working?
And messages as well.
Am I on? I'm doing, okay.
That's amazing. Admirable.
So we will, we'll, obviously this will all be out there for you to read. So moving on to Dr. Boyko. We'll acknowledge her family as well while we move forward. Dr. Burke, are you out there?
I'm here.
Excellent. I felt something comforting, and so I knew it.
That was it.
That's it. All right.
You get going?
Yes.
All right. So I remember Tatiana in the early years as really being very quiet. She didn't talk a lot. She didn't talk a big game, but if you asked about a patient or a problem or something that was going on, she always knew the answer. After working with her in surgery for a little while, pretty quickly she would ask for a suture or ask for instruments before I had a chance to, or start to move the retractors ahead of time, anticipating the next moves of the operation. And that sort of anticipation is pretty unusual in a junior resident. And she got to do these things because she was always paying attention to detail. So as time went on, I got to know Tatiana better. And I think for a little while, I had her convinced to go into plastic surgery. But the main thing was she was always in the operating room. She would double scrub on cases. She would stay later than she was supposed to during the day, come in on days off, and, you know, some work hour violations for sure, but we'll leave that alone for today. But the point is she was always willing to put in the extra work or the extra effort to get her where she wanted to be. So in addition to that, I've been fortunate to get a chance to do several research projects with Tatiana. And I am not an easy research mentor to have. I need constant redirection and refocusing, and a lot like a puppy. And Tatiana was always willing to do that with a rolled up newspaper in hand. And with one project in particular, I had been slow to get the abstract submitted to a meeting, and Tatiana subtly suggested, "Hey, why don't I take over? I'll try to get this thing out." And I said, "Okay." And she knew I would, because she'd been paying attention. She knew I'd be happy to get rid of that responsibility. And sure enough, she notified me not too much into the future that, "Hey, listen, great news. It's been accepted for a podium presentation." And I said, "Great, where at?" And she said, "In Germany." I said, "Oh, okay. You threw that one by me, strong work." And the bottom line is, though, she took advantage of an opportunity in a way that I think so many of us let slip by. And as she moves forward and heads into hand surgery, you know, with those qualities of paying attention to detail, putting in extra work and extra effort when needed, and taking advantage of opportunities that arise, she'll have no.
She'll have no
Suspense is killing me.
fucking incredible. That's right.
I don't think he's coming back. What a way to leave. Look at him. I think that might be it.
Oh yeah, he's really down.
No choice but to be successful.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt she'll be successful.
Oh, okay, I was broken up. I bet it broke up. I think we're getting bro. Do we get it? Do I have to do it again?
Take it from the top.
Thank you, Dr. Burke, for your wonderful but cut off introduction. Thank you also for adopting me into your already innumerable family, and for your guidance throughout the years. Although sometimes I think you're maybe confusing me with one of your children, because tonight your advice for me was to wear a bib. So almost a decade ago, I applied to residency programs. My personal statement was based on an analogy between running a marathon and doing medical school. During my interview at UB, Dr. Hassel let me know that he didn't understand my analogy. Despite that, I'd like to thank him and Dr. Chair for giving this Caribbean Medical School graduate a chance to become a surgeon. I'm going to try another sports-related analogy tonight. As junior residents, Dr. Lubin, Dr. Ramatka, Dr. Norden, and I participated in an obstacle course called the Tough Mudder. This included us taking turns carrying each other on our backs, running and crawling through mud, jumping in ice cold water, climbing obstacles, and ending with receiving multiple electric shocks. Somehow we came out all smiles and stronger for it. So I would like to thank the multiple people that throughout residency have carried me on their back, those that have allowed me to carry them, and even the circumstances that, just like mud and electric shocks, have made me stronger and more resilient. I want to thank my fellow residents, past and present, some of whom have been my biggest role models and mentors throughout this journey. I want to thank my attendings who have taught me how to be a surgeon and entrusted me with taking care of their patients and even their family members. I want to thank my family for their never-ending support and understanding, and for visiting me in Buffalo, not just in the summers, but also in the winters. I'd like to thank Dr. Hu, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Langen for helping me chase my wild innovation dream, and Dr. Schweizberg for supporting us through our ups and downs. Dr. Lucan, thank you for always supporting me. And once again, thank you to all of the residents, and a special shout out to my adopted Russians in the program, Anushka, Sasha, Boris, and Natasha. Thank you very much.
All right. Dr. Rich Johnson, going to be introduced by Tim Adams. Dr. Adams, are you with us?
I am.
Here you go.
Hello, everyone. I would like to first congratulate all the graduates for a job well done. It's a long road, but you guys have finished in spectacular fashion, and I couldn't be more proud and grateful that I was part of it. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing Richard Johnson. I met Rich approximately 6 years ago when he was a preliminary surgical resident. The first thing I noticed about Rich was his laid-back, easygoing attitude. Nothing seemed to rattle him. I figured one of two things would probably happen. Either he would become like the rest of us, uptight, cynical, easily angered, disappointed, or he would go on to become a wonderful radiologist. I am happy to say neither happened. Rich was accepted into our program as a categorical resident and remained laid and easygoing, all the while providing excellent care to our patients. It still amazes me that even when criticizing or reprimanding him, he continued to remain calm and cool without taking anything personally. He took it so well, I would start to wonder if he was even listening to me. As I getting to know him, I realized that this was a tactic that could only be pulled off by the most cunning of residents. I started to understand that he took his craft very seriously, and he understood the value of diffusing any situation. They say gaining the respect of your colleagues is a true testimony to one's character. During his time as a resident, Rich has received the Teaching Award from the medical students. He's been a Gold Humanism Society nominee. He was chosen to attend the American College of Surgeons residence as Teachers and Leaders course, to name a few. Rich has remained humble throughout his training and meticulous. He has been accepted into the Endoscopic Minimally Invasive Surgical Fellowship at the Ohio State University program. But I believe that his greatest accomplishment while here was finding the love of his life. Rich is engaged to Mary Jane Zhao, who will be a chief resident in our program this upcoming year. And with that, I have two pieces of advice for Rich. One, accept the fact you will seldomly ever be on the right side of any debate. And two, always put your family first with every decision you make. But without further ado, I welcome to the stage, Dr. and for the last time as my resident, Dick Johnson. You know I had to say it.
You got one.
Thank you. Coastal Buffalo. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adams. I really appreciate it. I have a lot of people to thank. I'll start, of course, with the first and most important individual, my dog Magellan, who is always my confidant, is willing to listen whenever, as long as there's treats involved. And he has been a good consultant throughout the years. But honestly, Jane's been the most supportive person that I've ever met. She's a wonderful individual, and it's an honor to be engaged to marry her. So just remember going back to, I scrambled here as a preliminary. So getting that call from Dr. Chair as the program director one evening with my parents over dinner saying, you know, hey, have you thought about Buffalo? And I said, it sounds great. You know, when do you want me to come? So that was a wonderful time. And then showing up, being told, well, you know, your preliminary year, you have to make a good impression. Now that you're at a little bit bigger university place from where you came from, you can get people's letters of recommendation that have publications, and they can start to improve your application. So where do you start? I was like, well, at the suburban hospital. Okay, well, they're not as academic there, but you'll at least meet some people. I was like, well, I'm on nights, so I didn't make it an attending for a month. But it ended up working out well. I really liked the people here, and I was happy that I was able to stay. You know, and then trying to figure out what I wanted to eventually go into. I love general surgery so much. I didn't think I really wanted to do a fellowship. And after one of our junior chairman's conference where we were talking about gallbladders and bile duct injuries and common bile ducts, and we started talking about ERCP, and I said to Dr. Schweitzberg, you know, I didn't know how to do any procedures 2 years ago. Like, ERCP is just another procedure. Why can't I learn how to do that? And like, why don't surgeons just do that? And his answer to me was, you know, I just hired somebody, or I'm talking to hire someone that does just that. And that's Dr. Fung, who's been a great mentor as well. Coincidentally, I'm ended up going to the same fellowship to try and learn some of the same procedures and skills that she had. So I think I've somewhat lucked into a lot of the great things in my life. I've enjoyed every moment of it, even some of the call days and post-call rounding days. But I think that's the best part about it, is the journey. Everybody has a great ride. And I want to leave you guys with just this one thing. After 6 years, I finally had an attending tell me I was going too fast with Dr. Lucan in a burn case. So mission accomplished. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I did the same thing. All right. Dr. Langen. Dr. Drisky, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Dr. Drisky will introduce Dr. Langen.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Nice talk. So this is my great honor to introduce for you Tom Langen as a graduate resident from General Surgery program. Tom is a native Buffalonian. He went to Brown University and then to medical school, UP Medical School. And I know him actually I met him first when he was a medical student. He was a classmate with my daughter, and they were in the same friend circles. So I heard about him from Olivia, my daughter, and what I always was hearing, what she was always saying, that Tom is so smart. He was always saying, Dad, we have to, he's just getting it. We have to study, but he's just getting it. So I was very happy when I learned that he actually decided to be a surgeon. Initially, he planned to be ENT, but eventually he ended up in general surgery program, and I was very happy when he chose me as his advisor, residency advisor. He had, I think, a hard time to decide what he wants to do after general surgery residency, and we had a many discussion about it. And I was incredible happy when he told me that eventually he wants to be a vascular surgeon. He also spent 2 years doing the MBA program, which is just incredible program created by Dr. Schweizberg. And I think this gives these young people time to make decision and also to prepare them for these incredible challenges, which the new way to do business in medicine are. Just preparing to this talk, I talked to my daughter and I asked her, do you have any funny story about Tom? And she thought a minute and she said, yes, I have many, but I don't think you should tell them during the graduation program. And I didn't ask anything more. Use your imagination. So Tom, I worked with Tom when he was a resident in general surgery. And what I noticed about him was that he was incredibly bright. I was always happy when I got a call from a suburban hospital where we don't have a vascular surgeons, but general surgery residents. And he was on call and he was telling me about the consult. This was absolutely perfect presentation. This was always perfect presentation. He, as a general surgery resident, he worked with me in the operating room, and I have to say that he's very skilled. His manual ability is incredible. So I know that he will be an incredible vascular surgeon. And once he told me that he decided to be to go for vascular surgery, I was hoping that he will match in Buffalo, and I think we are very happy to have him next year as a fellow. So overall, I think Tom is a very bright individual, talented surgeon, and he has also skills as having business degree, and I'm really excited to work with him for the next 2 years, and I would like to congratulate him and his family and his fiancée Amanda, which had opportunity to work with. So Tom, congratulations. Please come to the podium.
Congratulations.
This, I got too much stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, sure. All right, apologies in advance because I don't look very good from below. Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words here. I'd like to start with some expressions of gratitude. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family members. I realize that this past 7 years has been difficult for you. The long hours, the missed holidays, the vacations and birthdays that I wasn't able to be a part of. You've put up with mood swings and irritability that stemmed from fatigue and stress. You've all been incredibly understanding and endlessly supportive. Thank you to my lovely, hilarious, intelligent, talented, and grounded fiancée, Mandy. You've been a stabilizing force through what has often been a tumultuous journey. You've endured and provided so much throughout the years. You've showed incredible poise and patience. You've always listened with interest, no matter what I had to say about work, positive or negative. When I felt defeated, you reminded me of my worth. You've taught me so much about so many things, Perhaps most importantly, you've taught me how to be present in moments and to truly value experiences for what they are. It's no exaggeration to say that I couldn't have accomplished all that I have without you. I love you immensely. Thank you to my beautiful daughter, Priscilla. You are a ray of sunshine and the light of my life. You are a princess and an explorer and a total rock and roller. You are a true delight to everyone you meet and somehow charm any animal you encounter, great or small. You're an old soul and are constantly blowing us away with your insight and understanding. I know it's hard for you that I'm not around as much as you would like, but I want you to always remember that every moment that I'm gone, I'm looking forward to coming home to your shining smile and your goofball jokes. You've made me a better person, a more thoughtful person, and a more patient person. I'm eternally grateful for you. I love you and happy birthday. She turns 5 tomorrow. Thank you to my parents. How could I ever express in words the gratitude that I have for both of you? Your endless support has been invaluable to my success. Dad, you've been an inspiration and a role model to me for as long as I can remember. You're a truly remarkable and Renaissance man, a talented researcher and a compassionate physician, a worldly scholar and an athlete, and above all else, an amazing father. I know no one else with whom one conversation can include the intricacies of glycogen storage disease, the works of Freud and Jung, the canon of Bob Dylan, and the enigmatic life of James Joyce, as well as the prospects of next year's Bill Squad. I've always aspired to be like you. Thank you so much for providing all that you have. Mom, you're perhaps the most driven and self-reliant person I've ever met. Everything that you've ever earned, you've achieved because of your sole efforts, and very few people can say that. I can thank you for my unwillingness to quit and to never abandon a task before it's complete. You taught me to always be thankful for what I have, as others have far less. I owe my deep senses of compassion and empathy to you. Your patients are lucky to have you, but not as lucky as us. Thank you from the deepest part of my heart. Steph Peter, given the constraints of time, I'm unable to laud your individual accomplishments and attributes, but I will say that they are many and they border on infinite when taken together. I greatly admire each of you in your own right. Thanks for putting up with all my BS. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for laughing at me when no one else would. Thanks for shredding the gnar with me. Thanks for being the most awesome siblings anyone could ever ask for. I value you immensely, and I can't wait until the next time it's possible for us all to be together. I have some professional thank yous. Thank you to Dr. Drisky for being my mentor and confidant. You're an amazing man and a formidable force in the operating room. You're my work dad. You've always supported me despite some years of struggle and uncertainty. I would certainly not be the surgeon I am today without your influence. I aspire to one day be as talented and well-regarded as you are. Thank you to Dr. Lucan for hosting this beautiful evening at your lake house. Thank you for putting up with me for 7 years and for not acting on what I'm sure you would have thought were many fireable offenses. You're an academic powerhouse. I've always looked up to you. You've shown me a great deal of kindness and support, though it may have taken years to earn. You've always set the bar high, and we are all better surgeons and clinicians for it. I look forward to joining your ranks in the vascular surgery community. Thank you to Dr. Schweitzberg for the professional and personal guidance you've provided over the years. You require no introduction, and praising you could take all night. You afforded me with incredible opportunities from which I'll carry knowledge and skills for the rest of my life. Also, I would be remiss to mention, if I didn't mention, that I met my wonderful fiance while in business school through your Surgery Plus program. So I must thank you for helping me towards my destiny. Thank you for investing your time and confidence in me. And thank you for pouring yourself into making UB Surgery a better and stronger entity. Thank you to Dr. Chair, and I don't know if he's here, but I'll say it anyway. He was the faculty member who had probably had the longest influence on my career path. He took me in when I was a medical student, broken by the match and disenchanted, fostered me when I was aimless and confused as a prelim, and I was unsure of my role in the surgical world. He supported my choices and encouraged me to succeed and advocated for me on several occasions in closed door meetings over the course of many years. He believed in me, and for that, I will be forever grateful. Thank you to the faculty who gave me the independence to learn to operate, and those include Dr. Bernstein, Dr. Barone, Dr. Adams, Dr. Silva, Dr. Butch and Dr. Brewer. Thank you to the faculty who took an interest in helping me define my career. And those people include Dr. Chopko, Dr. Blockley, Dr. Moore, Drs. Bernstein and Silva. Thank you to those who make things work behind the scenes. Dana and Sue, Colleen, Kylie, and Amanda, the NPs and PAs of present and past, Gina, Ellen, Devin, and Brittany. And of course, the Dundee for best program coordinator ever definitely goes to Melissa. Congrats to my peers, this UB surgery class of 2020. Half of us started together 7 years ago. What a trip. I'm proud of all of you for the amazing surgeons you've become. I look forward to watching all of you as your careers soar. Congratulations to the incoming interns. Congratulations to the new rising chiefs. Congratulations to the new seniors and juniors who are becoming mid-levels. I'm proud of all of you. You show incredible strength, talent, and promise. Don't get jaded. It may be difficult, especially in the doldrums of third year, but always remember why you're here, to help and to heal. I will never forget Dr. Dayton's words during the orientation of my preliminary year. It's an amazing privilege what we do. People place their trust in us to cut them apart and to put them back together again. It's just amazing. And he was right. With that, let's have a drink.
It's tough, isn't it? It's hard. Not enough hands. Yeah. All right. And Dr. Norden. Dr. Norden. Have we talked about you enough? We have to keep going.
More than enough.
Yeah. I think, should we skip on to the next? Probably.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
It's a great pleasure, sincere pleasure for me to have the opportunity to introduce and to join everyone here to celebrate the graduation of Dr. Andrew Norden, as well as all the other chiefs. Andrew grew up in Austin, Texas with his brother Alex and his sister Molly. His parents, Rick and Christy, moved the family to San Jose, California, where Andrew attended high school. Andrew became a musician and taught piano. His father taught him how to run long distance, and now he likes to run through the mud, somehow symbolic of perhaps surgical training. Early on, Andrew knew he wanted to be a doctor, and so he returned to Texas and attended a combined Baylor undergraduate and medical school program. While doing a rotation on pediatric surgery at the Texas Children's Hospital, he was inspired by several pediatric surgeons, including Dr. Mary Brandt and Dr. Mark Mazziotti. These people helped change his career goals from pediatrics to pediatric surgery. As you may recall, Mary Brandt was a visiting professor here in Buffalo a year ago and trained with Dr. Schweitzberg. And Dr. Mazziotti, of all things, was a medical student at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia when I was a senior fellow. And so the pediatric surgery world is a small one sometimes. We were all very fortunate that Andrew matched into our general surgery training program. I believe he is a superstar. Cover your ears, Andrew. I believe he's a superstar. When he was on the pediatric surgery rotation, I noticed I would get emails from nurse managers on the floor that would start ominously. I'm emailing you about a surgery resident. That usually doesn't bode well in a children's hospital. But they would say, we want to compliment Dr. Norden for how he interacts with patients, parents, and the nurses. He did a great job. Andrew was then fortunate enough to be accepted into the critical care fellowship and then a research fellowship at the Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. He was well loved there and was very productive, publishing several important papers in pediatric surgery. However, for all of Andrew's accomplishments, the most important achievements most important achievements is that he's managed to convince Courtney to marry him and to help her bring Emory into the world. I want to thank Courtney and Rick and Christy for their full support of Andrew. His path has been long and arduous, and is not yet over. We are lucky that Andrew is staying in Buffalo with us for another year, performing a multifaceted job that's going to include research, being a pediatric surgery fellow, doing pediatric and adult surgery clinical work, and being a more normal husband and father. I cannot be more happy that Andrew will soon join us in the pediatric surgery world as he completes a pediatric surgery fellowship at the Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit in 2023. Frankly, I've already begun trying to recruit him back to Buffalo. I will finish by simply saying how much I've enjoyed working with and getting to know Andrew. It's my honor to present him to you now.
That's a hard introduction to follow. 5 years of surgery residency go by fast, especially when that 5 is more like 6 or 7. However many years it's been, and I've kind of lost count. These years have been fantastic here. I wouldn't trade my years in Buffalo here for anything else. Buffalo has given me amazing surgical training, but has almost more importantly given me an amazing wife, a new family, new relationships that I will cherish and treasure forever, and an amazing group of co-residents whom I've had the privilege to work alongside with and learn from. So thank you to all of you. If I've learned anything during my time here, it's all been because of the wonderful people that I have supporting me. So I have a slew of thank yous. First off, Dr. Schweitzberg, starting at the top. You have a remarkable insight, not just into the field of surgery, its present and its future, but also into people and to making connections and finding people. And you have been a fantastic mentor over these past few years. You've been wonderful to work alongside and to learn from. And so thank you. Melissa, Dana, and Sue, you all are the glue that holds all of this together. You guys are simply the greatest. Thank you for cheering us all on in our successes, for commiserating with us and supporting us in our difficulties. And none of us would be anywhere close to here without your support. Dr. Cooper and Dr. Jordan, who I don't know if he's listening, but you both have been, from residency and through into attendinghood, you've been amazing mentors. You've been fantastic to bounce ideas off of, both clinically and in personal and professional life. And so thank you for your support over these years. Dr. Harmon, that was a fantastic introduction. I'm sure half of it was made up. But your guidance through this process has been truly invaluable. And your support has meant the world. You have so much experience and wisdom and funny and insightful anecdotes for all these pediatric surgeons, and pediatric surgeons whose names I only sort of hear about in whispers and reverence. And so keeping that perspective has been very important. I'm very much looking forward to continue to train with you and to work alongside and learn from you. Dr. Lucan, if everyone here missed anything, this man is amazing. I can now somewhat freely say that I did not want you to be our program director, because I did not want to miss a second of learning from you at the bedside in learning clinical by experience and how to take care of patients in the full and truest way. And you are a shining example and a role model for all of us. So thank you. To everyone else in the program I didn't mention, this is an Academy acceptance speech. I'm told I have a time limit, so I'm gonna move right along. But you all have taught me innumerable things about how to take care of patients and how to be the best surgeon that I can be. To my mom and dad, you have both been a constant source of inspiration, support, and guidance over the years. You've believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And so thank you for always encouraging me to do my best and to follow my dreams. To my brother and sister, Molly and Alec, we've gotten into it over the years. You guys have been always the most amazing and the most supportive siblings that anyone could ask for. And kind of hope you're not listening, but but thank you to both of you. And then last but most importantly, and also because I need a place to sleep tonight and to go from here, to my amazing and wonderful wife, Courtney. You found me when I wasn't looking for anyone, and you are the love of my life. I love you until forever. You've been so supportive throughout this whole process. I know it hasn't always been easy, and you are the most wonderful mother to our beautiful daughter, and I can't wait for what the next years together with you bring. So from the bottom of my heart, I love you and thank you. 2020. Cheers.
Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
You got it.
Rafa. Dr. Schweisberg will introduce Rafa. Thank you. It's a joy, it's a true joy to stand here and introduce Rafael Perez, DO MBA, as one of tonight's graduating Chiefs residents. You wouldn't think so, but Rafa went to college in Alabama. He was a biology major. Who knew? He was a biology major with a surprising minor. Anybody know? Italian. Ooh. So I'm hoping that you'll, and it may have influenced his sort of European suave tonight. He went on to the University of North Texas Health Science Center, and he planned his career in surgery. Rafa comes from a medical family. His uncle's a surgeon. His father's a physician. There's no doubt he has this in his blood. I had an opportunity to chat with his mother, Maritza, and she's amazingly proud of you. Don't ever think otherwise. She said she had a strict upbringing. There was no cable TV in the house, and it was tough. And she says, we emphasized incredible family values, and I assure you that they stuck. This was a very strong part of his upbringing. And this is a big week for the Perez family because your sister just graduated law school from Stanford and will be doing 2 years, congratulations, in a human rights clinic. A huge accomplishment. His mom went on to tell us that he always had an inquisitive mind. She thought he was going to be an engineer. She said, Rafa does not accept things for what they appear to be, and went on to tell me the story of his grandfather who does magic tricks. Now, I don't know if you remember this. And you said to him when you were young, if you really do magic, why don't you make yourself disappear? So we called BS on True Magic.
Why not?
We all know how that probably worked out. We all know Rafa to be a kind soul, but it never surprises me when we dive deeper and learn more. What I didn't know, despite all of these years, that you had done several mission trips to Haiti when you were in college. And in the end, when I think about it, I'm just not surprised. It's just part of an incredibly kind and gentle personality that will be associated with a microphone swap. Here we go, hand off. I was thrilled. I was really thrilled when Rafa, Jean, and Jane decided that they would take me up on the offer to be the first Surgery Plus class. It was a risk. They actually did it on faith. And I will never forget, about 5 months into it,
when the three of them marched into my office and said, "We want to talk to you tomorrow." This is really true. I could not sleep that night. And I was really worried that they had had enough of this intersections in surgery and that they wanted to get off this carousel and go back to clinical rotations. But what I was really afraid of was that Lucan would be pissed at me for having to find spots for these people, which is probably the real reason why I couldn't sleep. Instead, they plopped down in the 3 chairs in front of my desk that all of you have been in at one time or another. And they told me that they were forming a company called Zippy. And they ultimately went on to the finals. They too went on to the finals of the Panache. Now, whether they're not going to make their fortune, it doesn't really matter. It's about persistence. We've heard tonight it's about not giving up. They had a vision and they did something. And that's why I'm proud of Tatiana and Jinwei and Brian and Jean and all the other groups that have gone on this journey. They will succeed. And they will succeed in the future because of this spirit that they bring to both surgery and everything they do. Raphael has matured into a phenomenal surgeon with a kind soul and a great doctor. And I am personally thrilled that he'll be spending the year with John Marks in Lankenau, Pennsylvania, doing colon and rectal surgery. They are phenomenal surgeons. If you don't play golf, it would be a good idea to start learning right now. I am truly proud of you. You will be a great surgeon because in addition to your skills, you are a great person. It is my pleasure to introduce Raphael Perez.
Wow. Thank you for those kind words, Dr. Schweitzberg. I can't believe the day is finally here. It seems like it took forever, but I still remember Dr. Von Fricken asking me, "You ever done this before?" Before every single thoracentesis that we did. Just like it was yesterday. I remember working with Dr. Cooley a lot as an intern. And as my fellow chiefs can attest to, he was a man of few words. Needless to say, it was a very quiet OR when I was in there with him. And yet I learned so much from his technique, his attention to detail, and his silent correction of my posture or moving my instruments to the right spot. I remember feeling inadequate during my junior years, questioning if surgery was the right career for me. But with the help and support of my family and my co-residents and my mentors, I made it through my first 2 years. Then I got the opportunity of a lifetime. Dr. Schweitzberg offered me the opportunity to take time off from residency to do the surgery plus the MBA program and get paid while doing it. So even though I would be the guinea pig in this experiment, it really seemed like a no-brainer to me. And I was right. So my time in the business school was a wonderful experience. I not only learned about the business side of healthcare, but I grew as a surgeon. That might seem weird, but business school is all about working in diverse groups with people from all different backgrounds and experiences. And I think this translated really well to my surgical training. And I think it really helped me transition smoothly into my 4th and 5th year of residency. And for that, I'm eternally grateful, Dr. Schweitzberg. I could speak for hours about how each surgeon that I've worked with has impacted me in a meaningful way, but I don't particularly like public speaking, and we don't have much, we still got a few residents left to speak. So to all the attending surgeons that I've had the pleasure of working with and learning from, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm standing here today because of your help and guidance, your support when I was feeling inadequate, and your knowledge, which I hope to pass on. To my co-chiefs, we did it. I'm so grateful that I got to grow in this program with you, and I'm proud of all that we've accomplished. I'm lucky to call you my friends, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store. To the incoming chiefs, congratulations on making it to your last year. This year is gonna fly by, and while you may still be feeling inadequate, I guarantee that you will all be confident and skillful surgeons come this time next year. One word of advice, stay humble. You're the leader of your team and you have to lead by example. You're not above writing discharge summaries, debriding sacral D cubes, or even carrying the ASCOM every once in a while. You've got this. And don't forget that you've got amazing attending surgeons who choose to teach and who are here to have your back. To the juniors, thank you for doing the scut work so that I could go to the OR. Thank you for dealing with angry patients and their family members. Thank you for getting consents. Thanks for coming to the OR with me and sometimes suffering the wrath of Dr. Lucan in the burn OR. I hope that I've been as helpful to you as my chiefs and my attendings have been to me. And Beth and Irene, I'm sorry that you had to deal with me during my COVID senioritis. And finally, and most importantly, I want to thank my family and my friends. This journey has been tough, I'm not gonna lie. But through it all, I've always been able to count on my first cheerleaders, as my parents so lovingly call themselves. They have been my rock and have been there through the ups and the downs of residency. It's been quite a roller coaster ride, but they've been there the entire way. Despite COVID, they even ventured up to Buffalo today, all the way from Texas, so that they could be here for my graduation. Or maybe it was just to see the grandkids, but that's okay. And speaking of kids, I want to thank my kids, Fernando and Margaret, for letting me be your father, for teaching me patience, for brightening my day after a tough day at work, and for your unfailing love despite my flaws. You're my inspiration, and I love you both. Thank you to my younger siblings, Mariel, Marian, and Jose. Even though I'm the oldest, I am inspired by all you've accomplished, and I look up to all of you. I'm really proud of us Perez kids, and I look forward to seeing the positive impact we can have on this world. And by the way, shout out to my mom and my sister. It's their birthday today. Happy birthday. These past 6 years have been full of unexpected twists and turns, many good and some not so good. But as a wise girlfriend once told me, everything happens for a reason. I'm here today as a result of all these good and all these bad experiences, and even COVID. I've learned from the good and I've been humbled by the bad, and I'm a better person for it all. Thank you again to Dr. Lucan and to Dr. Schweisberg and to all of my mentors at the UB Department of Surgery. Here's to the UB Department of Surgery COVID class of 2020. Cheers.
Tracy. Yep. Molly, you still there?
Yep.
All right, Molly.
All right, so congratulations to all of the 2020 surgery grads. Oh, there's our picture, Tracy. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Tracy Tarana, virtually introduce. Dr. Tarana, she served the past year as one of the admin chief residents. She did a remarkable job. Of all the chief residents, Tracy, sorry to everybody else, but you are the most lovable and you're my favorite always. Watching you grow up the past 5 years has been an honor, honestly. I think that's probably the best part about being an academic surgeon for me, is watching all you guys grow up. But you in particular, watching you grow from being someone who's, anxious and crying to someone who's confident and crying has been amazing. You are a fantastic doctor and person, and the best part of you is that you don't even know it. You are humble to the core, and I love that about you. I hope that you don't ever change a single thing. You are a wonderful role model to the junior residents and to the medical students. The comments that you had about your sense of humor and your sarcasm and your ability to cheer everyone up despite you being the one crying it's truly, it's wonderful that we have residents like yourself. I'm sure if you poll residents and medical students, one of the things that comes to mind the most about you is your unparalleled waterworks. But I think that is one of the most remarkable things about you. And like I said, I hope you never change. They say that sweat is pain leaving the body, but for gals like you and me, it's tears that's pain leaving the body. I don't think you should ever be ashamed to be told that you're too self-deprecating or that you're a crier. I think, you know, the best thing about you is that you just care so very deeply about everybody, about your friends, your colleagues, and certainly your patients. And that in and of itself is what completely sets you apart from anybody else. And that's what makes you shine. I think that in other words, or in addition, like, it's not just that that's unparalleled, but you are like one of the hardest working people that I have ever met. You work circles around everybody else in the hospital, and no one can ever catch up with you. And again, that's what makes you such a wonderful role model. I want to thank you for everything that you've taught me the past 5 years. I feel like you're my little sister from another mister. You're my friend, you're my confidant, you're my mentee. And I'm so excited for your future. And for selfish reasons, I'm so happy that you're staying on as our critical care fellow. And I can't wait to celebrate with you for real one day, as soon as we can. And just congratulations to you, to your family. Your parents raised you right. And Jinwei, I know that you do, but I hope you know what a wonderful woman you have. And that is all I'm going to say. I think it's your turn to come to the podium.
Thank you.
Don't mind my garbage here.
Oh, gosh.
Throw it in those boxes. Oh,
Well,
you're gonna
oh
read
no,
from that.
that's
Sorry.
fine.
You place for the buffalo.
Oh gosh. There's not much I can say after that. That is the most wonderful, wonderful thing I could ever hear. Ever. Thank you, Dr. Moore, for everything, being my mentor, being a wonderful person. In my speech today, I was hoping that I could prove that I've learned something in the past 5 years and not cry or be self-deprecating at all in the next 5 minutes. But fingers crossed, because I'm not sure. So that being said, so I was born and grew up in the tiniest town of upstate New York, Afton, New York. Not much to talk about there. And I used to be on the Wikipedia page as the general surgeon that grew out of that town, and they recently booted me off. So there will be a petition going around to get me back on now that I am officially a general surgeon, and the only general surgeon that I know of in the past however many decades since Afton was created in the 1800s. But yeah, so that being said, thank you, Afton, for teaching me many, many things, which I don't know, I can't get into much. To my family, who got me out of Afton and into the real world, no offense, to my mom and dad, and my sister and my brother, for being literally just the most progressive people I literally could ever know in the beginning of my life, and being the sweetest people. And I've always looked up to you guys so much. All of you literally just carry so much in your heart, and I just try to emulate you every day. And anyone can tell you that when I'm really struggling with a patient that's really driving me fucking insane, pardon my language, I'm like, all right, WWJD, what would Joan do? She would sit him down. she would talk to them and we would get through this. And so to my mom, thank you so much for being, just the most amazing person ever. And to my sister too, because I literally tell everyone, I'm like, well, yeah, but if you met my sister and my mom, like you would understand, like they're fucking incredible. And then I just like, do my thing. And then my brother and his family also are amazing as well. But I just aspire to be like them all the time. Anyways, I'm blathering on. So my family, okay. So I have to say to my mom, in the most public forum I've ever been given in my whole life, I'm really, really sorry. I was such an asshole as a child. I took it way too far. I'm sorry about the lumpy pants. I went into surgery so I could wear scrubs because they're not lumpy at all. I'm so sorry that we all thought I was autistic for a while because I just couldn't deal with the texture. Oh, I messed up. I messed this up. Oh God, George is back. All right. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I was an awful child. I just feel terrible. So to that effect, I just want to say thank you also to all of my patients, because without you, I never, ever, ever could be a doctor. And I really think that that's where I learned the most. And I left half of my paper back home, and by that I mean on the table in my Harry Potter notebook. So to the patients from ECMC who taught me that trauma patients can come in literally every
It is.
it isn't. My sister gave it to me. Yeah, it's Ravenclaw. I'm a Ravenclaw. You wouldn't tell because I'm such a mess. Oh my gosh. I can't even find the paper. It doesn't matter. Okay, so to all my patients from ECMC who taught me that trauma patients can come in literally every shape, size, color, extravaganza, ability to tolerate pain, everything. It's so variable, and it takes, a lot. It takes a lot to understand and to take care of you. To all of my patients from BGH who taught me that you can have a hernia upon a hernia upon a hernia upon a hernia upon a hernia to the 7th degree, and that you can still perforate your uterus into the 4th hernia and it still requires Dr. Butch to repair it for you. And it's really challenging, but we can still take care of you. And to everyone at Suburban who taught me, all the patients at Suburban that taught me that no matter if you live in $1 million home or a $7 home, it doesn't matter. You can be very, very vulnerable when you're sick, and it takes a lot of empathy and stuff like that. And, just being a good surgeon. And then to everyone at the VA that show me that humans can literally survive anything with or without care. Like you can literally come in with a perforated gastric ulcer and go out to the parking lot with your NG tube after your gastric repair and smoke a cigarette, and you'll still walk out of the hospital. I had no idea that was possible, and now I know for sure. So thank you. Thank you so much for teaching me that. To all the attendings that have taught me so much. The people that have really dried my tears, that have apparently become very epic, because literally you can't talk about me without talking about me crying. To Dr. Moore, Dr. Lucan, Dr. Panchel, Dr. Silva. Thank you for mopping them up and pretending that I didn't just weep in front of you. I'm so grateful that I've been able to become a surgeon, even though I cry a lot. Whatever. It's because lasers can't come out of my eye. It's not my fault. And then lastly, to the Who family. To Jimway's parents for accepting me, even though they have no idea what they're in store for, but for allowing me to love Jimway with all of my heart. They've been so wonderful to me. And then to Jimway himself, I literally never would have survived residency without you. I literally can't express my gratitude enough. And I'm sorry it took me a hot second to realize that you were my soulmate, but I just didn't realize that the NRMP was really on scale with eHarmony and Plenty of Fish and Tinder and whatever else dating apps are out there. And they nailed it for me. Thank you so much for everything. And then, oh, I wrote down, thank you also. I thought that I never wanted to be in someone in medicine, but once you're screaming on the ground, just yelling lab values and like findings on the CT scan, I can't believe nobody told me about this. And there's this, that, and the other thing. So thank you for just listening when I was freaking out about everything. So I love you very much. All right, thank you. Thank you to everyone in my class and everyone in life. I appreciate it. I think I went a little long, my bad.
Don't forget your notebook though.
Never.
Turn this off. I've got to get the slides back to the correct spot.
Yeah,
Somebody was
so
touching the
sorry.
buttons.
Like,
I can't say who.
scrolling forward, scrolling backwards. It was mayhem.
Where are we?
George was there.
Here, I'll move down to this. Who's next?
Couldn't stop.
It's George. Let's find you. There we go. There he is. The hair's different, but there he is.
Lack thereof.
All right. Mike, you there?
Yep. All right, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have the privilege of introducing George Ventro. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to have worked with George over the past 7 years. He's a very caring and empathetic doctor, always striving for perfection. It has been wonderful to see him grow into an excellent leader as administrative chief and exemplary surgeon. George was always the resident that you looked forward to taking call with, as well as the resident you always looked forward to see standing across the table from you. You always knew nothing would be missed with George. One of my earliest memories of him was during his time in the ICU, where we had a very ill, dying patient in the early mornings. And as I literally walked into the ICU, George met me at the doors with his lanyard flying majestically in the air and updating me on the patient's condition, telling me what he thought and what he thought what he should be doing. He also wanted to ask me if he missed anything or if he could have done anything better. And of course, the answer to the last two queries were nothing, George. Everything is perfect. This drive and dedication followed George throughout his residency and made him one of the most dependable residents that we work with. Along with the joy of working with George in the hospital, I had the pleasure to get to know him outside of the hospital as well. I was able to be involved in his decision to go into trauma critical care, to talk to him about all the ups and downs with life, as well as with what comes with the field of surgery. I also was able to see what an amazing husband as well as amazing father that he is. I know he's going to do great things in life as well as amazing things in the upcoming years in trauma and surgical critical care. Congratulations, George, and good luck in San Diego.
We're here. You are here.
All right. Tracy, you might not be the only one crying today. So for every, I know. Exactly. It's about Will. To everyone who knows me in this residency, attendings, and faculty, I'm gonna do something I haven't done in 7 years is try to keep this speech short, sweet, and to the point. One would think that after 7, no, I'll find a way to give it to Joe in the next couple of days, and that's you, Joe Policemi. One would think that after 7 years, I would know what to say, as I've had an extra 2 years to prepare. One of my favorite quotations is, if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. When I started medical school, I would have bet you I was going to be a pediatric ophthalmologist or pediatric oncologist. But I fell in love with the OR, my very first case I ever scrubbed. It was a routine gallbladder followed by the most patient intern taking me through a simple skin closure. They made jokes, they cursed like sailors. It was ducking awesome. Oh, sorry, it's autocorrect. You get the point though. And there's gonna be more dad jokes, so everyone be ready. I found my people and I matched here in 2013, prepared to make my mark on surgery. And then for all the juniors, this is hopefully somewhat of an inspirational little bit that, you know, we don't all take a straight journey in life, and it's okay to have ups and downs and go topsy-turvy and make some curves. When I started here, my chiefs seemed like superheroes. You included, Dr. Cooper. Unflappable, invincible. They made it look so easy. There I was, homesick, unconfident. How was I gonna get there? In the span of my 3 months, I moved away from home. I got married, and I lost a close family member. But ultimately, I survived intern year. Second year was better. We were expecting our first child. And thanks to Dr. Harmon, I got to spend time in a research lab, develop those skills, and be able to spend more time at home and be with my wife and daughter. Coming back was rough. I started on one of the busiest services, which was like drinking from a fire hose. I contemplated quitting every day. And to whoever stole my antidepressants, I hope you're happy now.
Oh my God, I'll give you more. That's horrible. You know so many doctors, re-prescribe.
I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't confident, but thankfully that was short-lived. As soon I was on a trauma service with a senior who made it very fun. And Jeff Silpe, if you're listening, you made it fun. My return to residency jitters were very short-lived and they were gone. I feel I made both great strides with knowledge and skills as my time as a trauma mid-level, and was instrumental to my career. The rest of the year was pretty smooth after that. Fourth year developed my skills, confidence, and independence, and suddenly I felt like I arrived. I made it to chief year. I had failed in my journey to become a pediatric surgeon and was in the process of interviewing for trauma and critical care fellowships. And I quickly realized that that's okay. To be honest, I was terrified of operating on neonates, and why would you do something that you're terrified of? I was much more comfortable in critical care, trauma, and emergency general surgery, and I found my true fit. The saying is true, you learn much more from your failures than you do your successes. Despite everything that happened, the universe blessed me, and I matched my first choice at fellowship at UC San Diego. I can't thank the department enough for the training and the opportunities I've had here. Specifically thankful to Dr. Lukian, Dr. Schweitzberg, and all the attendings. I'll take something away from everyone, and I'll use it to make me a better surgeon and a better doctor. I have to thank my parents, because without their support growing up, I wouldn't have had the advantages I had, and I wouldn't have been able to get into medical school. I'd like to thank my daughter, Gia, for always giving me reason to smile, no matter the circumstance. And filling my heart so full of love. And most importantly, to my wife, Daniela. I'm sorry you can't be with me here today. You pushed me beyond my comfort zone. I can do this.
You got it. You got it, Joe.
Who's ever, you push me to be better. You push me beyond everything. And there's a quote from my favorite TV show from Dr. John Dorian, which is Scrubs. In the end, you have to trust that the perfect woman will always lead you in the right direction. And Daniela, you are, and you have. Lastly, I stand on the verge of leaving, reminded by these song lyrics from my grandma, who's no longer with us. Favorite song. Here I am. I've loved, I've laughed, I've cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. The record shows I took the blows and I did it my way. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so very much.
Everybody keeps turning off the mic. Hey, it's like when they're done, they're done. You know, it's all over.
Sorry, Gene. Sorry, Paul.
Moving on to Gene. Dr. Schweisberg.
I think it's official now. Tracy is literally the funniest resident I've ever been, had the privilege of ever working with. So thank you, Tracy.
I've always wanted to be something great.
It's an extraordinary pleasure to present Gene Yang, MS, MD, for this graduation celebration. Before coming to us, he spent his formative years in Michigan and went to college and medical school in Pennsylvania. And he went to Penn State, cheering on the Nittany Lions. And I'm assuming that you had spent some time at the Berkery Creamery, because yes, because nobody at Penn State could miss that, for which they are famous. In fact, even Ben and Jerry took courses at their school. He went on to Jefferson for medical school, where he fell in love with surgery, overcoming obstacles along the way. I began to wonder just when Gene decided to become a doctor. So I felt it was imperative to go to the source, his mom, his mother, Janice. I had the opportunity to speak to Janice and his father, and like all conversations that I get to have with parents, they're extraordinarily proud of him. They were afraid to return my phone call because that had a 617 area code. But so I had to leave a message and a text. No, this is not a crank call. And she went on to tell me about the time that when one of your friends was hurt and you went to go help him. And it was at that time you announced to your parents that you were going to be a doctor. That was age 5. Way to stick to the plan, Gene. That is perseverance. In his personal statement, Gene went on to describe a momentous procedure that impacted him greatly from preparation to outcome. I'm curious to find out who that surgeon was that had visitors from all over the world. But in that crucible of the operating room, a future surgeon was born. He goes on to state in his personal statement, and one of the real great joys I have of making these introductions is I always go back to find what people read and wrote at that time. It'll be hard to top Brett Parker, who was an Eagle Scout. That's a tough one. That was a good one. But he went on to state that pursuing a career in surgery will allow him to continue his interest in volunteering and addressing the disparities of access to care in medicine. Well, did he or didn't he? Well, of course he did. Gene was an active participant in organizing the UB Drone STEM program, where he went and helped organize these schools where disadvantaged children were, and Hamburg, bringing STEM education to youth, and put a lot of time into it and inspired a lot of kids along the way. And if you ever have a chance to see the video, your work was truly inspiring to many of them. Gene is a self-declared video gamer. Now, I'm not sure why you put video games on your hobbies in your application to surgery residency, but he did. And without a doubt, he went on to use those skills to not only win Top Gun once, representing the University of Buffalo, when we first decided to take on the challenge of those evil people from Beth Israel at Harvard, but he went on to win it twice, causing acute depression all throughout Massachusetts. He followed that up by winning the IRCAD skills contest in Strasbourg, France. So there is no doubt that Gene is going to be an awesome technical surgeon. I work out when the gym was open at the LA Fitness, and after seeing Gene in a workout, I really didn't even want to go back. So it was terrible. Along with Rafa and Jane, Gene was in that first group and went on to get his Master's of Engineering as a recipient of the UB Surgery Medtronic Engineering Scholarship. And like Rafa and Jane, thank you for being first to take that journey. Your research work was very exciting. I can't tell you about it, because we'd have to, you know what. And these ideas will make a difference. They form Zippy, and don't let any of these failures, don't let any of these setbacks set anybody in this group back. You have all overcome something. All of us have. I too am a failed pediatric surgery applicant. It feels liberating to get out and say that in public. But they went to the finals of the Panache, and that's a victory in and of itself. Gene has emerged as a terrific technical surgeon. I am incredibly thrilled that he has pursued MIS as a career. He has a full toolbox of skills and a great attitude, and thus it was no surprise that when he was on the MIS circuit, I would get phone call after phone call after phone call. You have to convince Gene Yang to come to our program. It got annoying after a while. Terrible problem to have. It's like being Norton. Winning.
Hard eye roll from
Gene will be spending the next year in San Diego in the MIS fellowship run by the incomparable Santiago Horgan. He will take his tool making skills and his innovation ideas into an environment where he will continue to thrive. Santi is one of the great creative minds in minimally invasive surgery. He's a complete wild man, and you will no doubt have an exciting year. It is with great pride that I present Gene Yang. Thank you.
Okay, so I know I'm coming up as kind of on the tail end of graduation speeches, so I'll try to keep it short. First, Dr. Lucan, thank you for hosting this. I know it's with COVID, it's been hard to get anybody to really gather, but I feel safe, so you must have done a good job. Dr. Schweisberg, thank you for the kind introduction. You have been an incredible mentor, not to me, but I know so many residents, and really you have been the most important attending that shaped my training and my future. So thank you very much. It's hard to comprehend that I've spent better part of a decade here in Buffalo. Over that time, from the attendings and staff, I've learned that to practice medicine with sense, conviction, and by putting patients first. From the residents and staff, I've come to love being part of the Buffalo family, being part of a supportive community that's made it possible to get through some of the long stretches. And for those reasons, I'll always be thankful to this program. And just like everybody else, I have a couple shout outs to my family. We're only about halfway through 2020, but man, does it seem like we've spent a long time this year. But we're Yanks and we get through it brighter on the other side. So specifically to my mom and dad, you've always been supportive of the choices I've made, even when you haven't agreed with them. And none of this would have happened or happened at this stage without you. You've raised two crazy sons, and both of you deserve a Nobel Prize for that. My brother, Chris, I'm so proud of how far you've come. I just remember, just like yesterday, you were in college trying to figure out what to do, maybe med school, maybe not med school, maybe MPH, maybe dental school, and you booked your first job. So congrats to you. I hope I've felt like a good brother so far. I'm always thankful for you as a brother and being my best friend. So hopefully I'll continue to give you guidance and you'll continue to give me guidance as well. Abby, you've been my foundation for the past couple of years. You've really broadened my perspective on life and what it really means to cherish the important things that I should. And you've kept me grounded. So with that, you've always showed me that anything's possible, and I'm so thankful. To the rest of the residents, like I said, I love you like family. It's exciting to see where you guys are going and where you will go. And I'll always check in and see how you guys are doing. And for the attendings, thanks for putting up with my shit for 7 years. So thank you very much.
All right. And Pung. I know he doesn't want any part of this. I know he didn't want to come up here. He doesn't want to hear this, but he has no choice. It's part of the game. It's my pleasure to introduce Pung. I will keep his introduction short because I know how modest he is and how he doesn't like to be in the limelight, and all this is probably painful for him. But I think everybody needs to be reminded of who he is. I can't think of anyone more driven than Pung. The road that he's traveled through, you've just heard stories of how everybody got here and all the trials and tribulations, and he's no different. He's been on a very long path to get where he needs to go, and he keeps pushing through, and that drive makes him a great doctor. It's that drive that really makes him the person he is, I think. He's faced adversity and he continues to strive to improve every day. He's never plateaued or gotten to the point where he stops trying. He began his journey in China, graduating with honors from med school. He excelled there in academics, leadership, and service. He was involved in all sorts of volunteer efforts that I didn't know about until recently, all to benefit the underserved and make it possible for other people to go to school. He went on there to get an MD, PhD, and to complete his graduate training in surgery there. A lot of training, a lot of service to other people. Then he came here and he continued his research and was extremely productive in Boston, publishing and researching for years. Then on to a fellowship, and he did burn surgery at the University of Colorado. And just to read through, I paged through all of the people that he's worked with, and everyone's opinion is the same as mine. He's somebody with compassion and empathy and a drive to help his patients and his peers. He is always positive. You can't keep him down. He's always positive, and his efforts as a teacher are unparalleled. I know he is, I can remember on many times coming into a room to attack him for no apparent reason. And he'd be teaching the students at the bedside. I remember one particular time he was teaching them to put in a line, never missed a beat, just kept teaching them about that line, and no thought for himself through all that. His focus was on that student to try and improve their life and to get them through, all while trying to pay attention to my absurdity. And it's that drive that makes him a great person. I also didn't know that Pung's father was also a well-respected surgeon, and left Pung with the words, "Help others, help yourself." And I think there's no question that he strives to do this every day. And I'm certain that your father would be extremely proud of the accomplishments that you've achieved and where you are today. It's a pleasure working with you. It has been a pleasure being with you. And I know you're going to continue to do great things and to help others and help yourself. Pung, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Ken. Good evening. It's really a long journey for me to stand here, to be honest. Compared to other my classmates here, I have quite a different story. But I do believe all of us want a meaningful life, and our program has made it come true. So here I want to express a deep gratitude to our program, who has fostered me, protected me, and placed me in such great environment to train me be a surgeon. I want to thank everyone here and over the Zoom. You truly made the best learning environment and the best experience for me. I especially want to thank Dr. Lukin. I cannot find any word to appreciate your tremendous helps and tolerance on me. Here, I just want to make a wish that all your efforts on me worthwhile in the future. Thank you, Melissa, Dana, and Sue. All the kindness and support from you have let me feel like I'm being loved. All of you are program's invaluable assets. Thank you, Dr. Chair, for leading me here and having faith in me with continued supports. Dr. Blackley, you have let me know what a great person like you I should be. Working with you is such a pleasant thing. Thank you, Dr. Silva. You might not know the autonomy you gave me in the OR has changed me so much. And I still remember the advice you gave me like a brother, not just attending. Dr. Due to the probably similar background, and I have learned a lot from you, being a good doctor and being a good person, and in this totally different world. Dr. Harris, your advice on me will be truly appreciated and remembered. Dr. Dosloglu, Dr. Rivero, and Dr. Kang, thank you so much for teaching me in what I'd like to learn. Dr. Butch, you're such a great doctor with a crazy service, but I hope I can learn more from you. Dr. Posner, your support during my tough time has warmed my heart a lot. Dr. Brewer, I enjoy working with you, even with sarcasm. And Dr. Kruber, thank you so much for dedicated teaching to me. At last, I want to express all my love to my family who cannot even be here today due to the pandemic, or even can watch online because for some reason you know and may not know. However, it's them who have freed me from a lot of burdens, support me to pursue my dream. I appreciate their loves, encouragement, and patience. Many years ago, I just became an adult. I definitely could not anticipate someday I can stand here. But what the dream in my dim heart at that time was to reach my limit. So today, I still don't want to restrict my dream. The residency was long, and the residency was short. I still remember first day I started in this program, seeing patients, reporting attendings, and scribing cases, being nervous and excited. Is that the same feeling I have right now when facing my future? Many years passed and many things happened, but I would stick to the same dream what I had when I was a young man. I still believe I can fly. I still believe I will touch the sky. Thank you.
All right, and I think we're moving to the end. I know you guys are probably all hungry, and I think the food arrived a while back. Hopefully it's in the house somewhere. We'll find it in a moment. But I just want to mention a few closing remarks. I'll keep them short, hopefully. As usual, we close the night and we honor the residents leaving the program as surgeons and welcome the next line of chiefs to take their place. It's an honor to me to have been a part of all of your training. I mean that it really has been an honor. You all are tremendous surgeons. The maturity that I've seen over the years and how you've matured is incredible. As usual, and behind your diploma inside there is a copy of an article given to me by my program director. I pass it to you. In past years, I've given an explanation. This year, I won't. He didn't give any to me. So you figure it out. I think in some ways, it's better that you take what meaning you can get from it. But it was important to me, and it still is, and hopefully you'll see something in there for yourself. I want to leave you with a couple of quotes, 2 quotes from surgeons who were involved in our program as it matured in the 1950s, names that I didn't know, but quotes that I liked, and relations, trying to relate the Buffalo program to a lineage in Vienna. You'll have to read the full thing to get that connection. It's a long stretch, but it's there. And the first one's from Roswell Brown, who was one of our surgeons, quoting von Heiselberg. The work of the clinical teacher is healing, teaching, and research. The end purpose of this cycle is one and alone service to suffering mankind. This cannot become subsidiary to teaching opportunities or research, and conversely, teaching and research should only serve to elevate and increase medical knowledge and care. And I think that's a good thought to leave with. One more and one more thought, and then you're free. Donald Becker, another surgeon that was in our program under John Stewart in the 50s and 60s. The education of the surgeon includes the ability for continued growth and self-study. Once the supervision of the residency program and the qualifying examinations are in the past, it is the surgeon himself who must maintain his own standards and the ability to be self-critical. Without this, he must ultimately regress. And I think that's an important concept to leave with, one that I think you all know well. I want to remind you of all the responsibilities. You've heard this again and again today, so you know it's important to all of us. I think you've heard it from our guest and Dr. Schweitzberg and now myself. You're accepting tremendous responsibilities. You're entering into an age of systems approaches, shared responsibility. This morning from Dr. Ashman, we heard about the likelihood that there's going to be a control room and a control tower that's going to help us do surgeries. I have no doubt that that is on the horizon. That's coming. I think that will allow us to offer better care and make us better people. Now, that being said, when you walk in the OR, you are still the leader of the team. You need to take input from all members of the team, but you're still the one that's got to take responsibility for the patient and direct that team. That doesn't get taken away from you when we add a control room into the mix. You are still the surgeon, and that is still your responsibility. And that's what I want to leave you with. I appreciate you all coming here tonight. This was an awesome evening. This will be extremely memorable for me, I can say that. And thank you again, and do great things.
Thank you, Dr. Ethan.
We do those now, or do you want to do it after?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to open these up. There's something personal, I think, for each and every one of you. Probably doing the.
I'm not sure now.
First of all, it's a kicking.
It's only George's responsibility.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I had some insight from some people, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm okay with that ever. So I got gifts for Dr. Schweitzberg and Dr. Lucan here. It's you. Yeah, thanks. Dr. Lucan, yours is just as much for Melissa too, and there's a part of it, and I'll kind of explain it to you. Something. It's a sign.
I don't understand it, but. Maybe this is us.
So I will put this in my office because everybody has heard me say, if you are not at the table, then you are on the menu. So thank you. I totally appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can wear it on some of your Zoom calls. And then Dr. Luke, there's one more thing in there for you. There's 2 more things in there for you. And I think there's a t-shirt in there for you. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So these right here, these are more for Melissa and everyone in the office. They're road signs. It says stop, yield, keep out. So, you know, Dr. Lucan gets a lot of stuff going on, and this is kind of to kind of help direct direct traffic and make sure that
I only need one of those.
Yeah. You can give them to your son, maybe. And then this is called a damn it doll. And so whenever you're really upset, you can just take it out on the doll. And so I wish he had this at the start of the year for me. But I don't know if you can see, I've cut out every single resident, years 2 through 4. I feel like the interns deserve a pass. And so you can just put their face right there and you can smack it on the table. That's what it's for. So I hope you get some use out of it.
Oh, and George, it warms my heart to understand that you guys were listening. And I will always cherish this. I will, when we reopen the gym, I will wear this in the gym as a reminder of this class of 2020. It's been a true joy and an honor to be participating in your education. We will miss all of you. And for those of you who are staying, we won't miss you, but we'll look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.
All right, I am gonna, well, actually, I shouldn't touch this. I should let Brian do whatever we're supposed to do and sign us out. And all right, can I get anybody else a drink in the meantime while I get some food out? You guys wanna get up, take a stroll?
Can we help you?
grab a drink, and,
For everyone on the Zoom call, thank you for joining us, and we will end it now. So everyone have a great night. There will be a video of this recording that we will send out to everyone as well.
Thank you. We love you so much.
Yeah, it's this one. Mom, Dad, love you. Love you, Chris. Yeah,
Now really,